Hello, curious souls and weary dreamers. I am Dr. Weird, your guide through history's hidden corners where the unimaginable becomes real. Tonight's topic, a lost world of bizarre extinct animals, creatures so strange they seem to belong. To myth, what if the world you know is just a fleeting moment, and beneath your feet lies a tapestry of life that defies belief? Sink into your pillow, let each inhale draw you toward wonder, and each exhale release your worries. Now open the hidden door in your mind and step softly into that ancient realm. If you enjoy these Midnight Odyssey, hit subscribe and ring the bell for more adventures. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. Sleep well, dream deeply, and let the weirdness unfold. Imagine a vast landscape stretching beyond your senses, where primeval forests rise. Like emerald cathedrals, their towering ferns and cycads reaching for a sky painted with unfamiliar hues. The air is thick with mist and the musky scent of decaying foliage. Each breath you take carries the warmth of invisible life forms, busily at work, beneath a canopy older than any civilization. Somewhere ahead, the ground trembles ever so slightly, hinting at the weight of giants moving just beyond sight. Hold that feeling as though it were a heartbeat, slow, steady, and primordial. Our first glimpse is of a creature of unimaginable size and gentleness, Argentinosaurus, a sauropod whose neck stretched skyward like a living tower. Visualize this titan stepping into a clearing where shafts of diffused light pierce the mist. Its skin is mottled with dappled patches that mimic the patterns of shadow and leaf overhead, a camouflage both elegant and ancient. Each footfall creates a seismic pulse, rippling through the damp earth and sending concentric waves across shallow pools of water. In the hush that follows, the creature lowers its massive head to graze upon the tender foliage of prehistoric conifers. Watch as its beak-like mouth tears at leaves, chewing methodically, each bite releasing a faint, raspy exhalation. Now, feel the rhythm of your own breathing meld with the slow cadence of Argentinosaurus's chewing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, each cycle lulling you into a deeper state of calm. As the sun's first rays filter through the canopy, patches of golden light dance across the sauropod's flank, creating a mosaic of warmth that spreads across its armor-like scales. Imagine the warmth seeping through your eyelids, warming your eyelids, your cheeks, the gentle plane of your chest. Let that warmth flow downward, untangling every knot of tension in your muscles. Your arms grow heavy at your sides. Your legs sink into the mattress as though urged by gravity itself. The world outside may hum with noise, but here, in this hidden dimension of time, you hear only the whispered rustle of leaves and the soft murmur of ancient life. Now, shift your attention to a different corner of this lost world, a river snaking through limestone cliffs. On its banks lies a creature both fearsome and enthralling, Sarcosuchus, the so-called super croc. Imagine its elongated snout slicing the mirrored water like a blade. Each tooth is a gleaming spike, perfectly adapted for seizing any unwary prey. But now picture Sarcosuchus at rest, its body half submerged, nostrils and eyes breaking the surface like dark stones placed carefully by an unseen hand. Feel the damp breeze brushing your skin, carrying the briny tang of prehistoric waters. In the hush, you hear the low, rumbling bellow of the super croc as it exhales a plume of warm mist. That breath condenses in the cool air, curling skyward, like a phantom tendril before dissolving. Let that image sink into your mind, inviting both awe and tranquility. There is power here, yes, but also a deliberate serenity, a reminder that sleep need not fight against strength. Rather, it can embrace it. Take a moment to sense the ground beneath you, transforming into marshy terrain. Beneath your feet, the high mud squelches softly as you walk. Your toes sink into a mix of clay and ancient detritus, releasing a gentle, earthy fragrance. Ahead, a vast herd of Dinotherium, gigantic elephant-like mammals with elongated tusks curving downward, move slowly toward a flowering grove. Their massive heads sway with each step, snapping branches to reveal succulent leaves. As you near one of these giants turns its head, its small eyes reflecting a gentle intelligence. It trumpets softly, a sound not of fear, but of quiet communication with its kin. That trumpet reverberates through the swamp, merging with the croak of ancient amphibians and the distant trill of insects. Feel the vibration of that trumpet in your chest, like the echo of a distant song that anchors you further to this ancient realm. Now imagine the continent shifting beneath your feet, dragging you across vast plains toward an open vista under a pale pink sky. Here strides Dimetrodon, a creature not a true dinosaur but a pelycosaur from an even more distant era. Its most striking feature is a sail of elongated spines stretching along its back, fanning out like a living banner. Visualize the sail catching the gentle breeze, rippling like a silk banner on a flagpole. Its coloration is a deep, russet hue, edged in pale cream, a sign of maturity and strength. Dimetrodon moves with deliberate, unhurried strides. Each step sends a soft thud as its clawed feet press into the sandy earth. Feel the ground vibrate under your weight, reminding you of the solidity of your own body sinking deeper into the bed. Watch as the sail catches the light of the sunset, casting shifting shadows across the undulating landscape. The sky above is awash in pinks and purples as though painted by a cosmic artist. Dimetrodon stops at a tranquil oasis of water, bending its head to lap at the cool liquid. Listen to the gentle lapping sound, each ripple echoing a lullaby designed by eons of evolution. The creature's nostrils flare, and you smell the fresh, sweet scent of water that has nourished countless generations of life. In that scent, find a thread connecting this distant past with your present calm. You are part of this continuum, even in sleep. Each inhalation brings you tranquility. Each exhalation releases any lingering resistance. As dusk yields to twilight, shift your gaze skyward, where a creature of the air rules the ancient heavens. Behold Quetzalcoatlus, one of the largest flying animals ever to take wing. Its wingspan stretches across the horizon like an elegant arc of leather and bone. Quetzalcoatlus soars with effortless grace, its silhouette soaring between fading stars and rising moonlight. Imagine your senses heightening as you watch it circle above a vast river delta thick with life. The surface of the river glints like shattered mirrors, reflecting the first sliver of moon. The creature's long beak skims the water, searching for fish or small vertebrates. Notice the quiet hiss of wind over its wing membranes, a sound so soft it is almost imperceptible, yet in its softness lies immense power. Feel that power cradle you as though you too are being lifted into the gentle currents of sleep. Let your breathing synchronize with the measured wing beats of Quetzalcoatlus. Inhale as it beats upward. Exhale as it glides downward. With every breath, you drift closer to a restful oblivion, carried by the same forces that once carried this magnificent pterosaur across prehistoric skies. Now, allow your mind to wander into the depths of primal forests. Under the dense canopy, stalks of bamboo and giant horsetails form a labyrinth of green. Here lurks Stegosaurus, its back adorned with plates that catch shafts of dappled light, and its spiked tail poised like a defensive weapon. Picture it small, head bent to graze upon low-lying ferns, its mouth quietly crunching soft leaves. With each chew, a faint crackle of vegetation echoes in the forest's hush. Close your eyes, or rather, feel the images behind your closed eyelids as you sense the slow swish of Stegosaurus's spiked tail as it sways. Feel a shiver of respect at the tale's potency, yet also a strange comfort in its rhythmic motion, as though it performs a soothing dance meant to guide you toward the threshold of dreams. The forest floor beneath Stegosaurus's feet is soft, with layers of decomposing leaves, releasing a musty aroma that binds to the deeper scent of wet earth. Inhale that rich, layered fragrance, allowing it to spread through every fiber of your being. Your body sinks further into restful surrender. Your arms grow heavy, your legs limp, and your mind drifts. Let us drift now from forests to tundra, where a behemoth called Mammothus primigenius, commonly known as the woolly mammoth, treads across frozen plains. Picture a landscape blanketed in frost, the air crisp and shimmering under pale daylight. This mammoth's long, curved tusks sweep upward like arcs of ivory moonlight. Its shaggy coat, tinted with russet and sepia, bristles in the sub-zero breeze. You feel a chill brush your cheek as if an invisible wind carries the scent of snow and the quiet promise of hibernation. Yet, despite the cold, the mammoth moves with surprising warmth in every footstep. Each step compresses powdery snow, sending tiny flurries dancing into the air. Listen to the hush of snowfall, mingling with the low rumble of the mammoth's exhalations, a sound like distant thunder rolling over frozen valleys. Inhale the crisp air deeply, and as you do, let the coolness wash away any remaining tension in your body. Your muscles relax as though thawing, and the warmth of your bed feels like a sanctuary against the cold. Drift with the mammoth through the silent tundra, carried by each breath and heartbeat closer to the land of dreams. Finally, picture a colossal underwater world where Kronosaurus, a marine reptile of immense proportions, glides through deep, brackish seas. Imagine those seas illuminated by bioluminescent plankton, tiny organisms that shimmer like faint stars scattered across the dark waters. Kronosaurus's flippers churn the water silently, sending ripples that scatter glowing motes like cosmic dust. The creature's head breaks the surface briefly, sending droplets cascading back into the abyss. Each droplet falls in slow motion, reflecting the faint light of underwater stars before rejoining the sea. Let that slow motion image hold you. Each droplet, a point of light surrendering to darkness, guiding you further away from wakefulness. Your body floats, weighted by covers, yet free in your mind's eye, drifting with Kronosaurus through an ocean of tranquility. And now, as the final curtain of darkness descends upon this lost world, allow all these creatures, the Argentinosaurus grazing in misty forests, the super croc lurking in primeval rivers, the soaring pterosaur over calm deltas, the mammoth roaming icy plains, and the marine lord gliding beneath bioluminescent tides to merge into a singular tableau in your imagination. Feel yourself as part of their world, connected across time and space. The shorelines of memory and sleep blend, and you drift gently into the embrace of dreams. Let your breathing grow ever softer, your heartbeat slow to the gentle rumble of ancient giants, and your mind slip into the velvety darkness of restful sleep. But wait, before you vanish entirely into that peaceful night, ponder this. Have you ever wondered what mysteries lie hidden beneath the morning mists as the sun rises over the plains of the Indus River? Perhaps those plains hold their own stories of strange beasts that once roamed by mighty rivers, stories that refuse to fade away even after millennia. As your eyelids grow heavy and your breaths lengthen, prepare for our next adventure, where we will follow the first rays of dawn across the fertile plains of the Indus and uncover creatures that shaped the course of ancient civilizations, and perhaps even shaped our own destiny. Let that thought kindle a spark of curiosity even as you drift off. Good night, dear traveler, and meet me at sunrise over the wind-whispered plains of the Indus. Have you ever wondered what creatures stirred as dawn's first light caressed the fertile banks of a river that would shape civilizations? As the sun rises over the plains of the Indus River, a soft glow spills across a mosaic of wetlands, sandbanks, and winding channels. In this tranquil moment, when the world seems suspended between night and day, the air carries a faint, milky saffron hue. You might picture the gentle lap of water against smooth stones, so rhythmic it could lull a mind into reverie. Mist hovers above the river's surface, like a delicate veil drawn by unseen hands. Tiny reeds poke through the steam, their slender silhouettes bending toward the warmth of day. Imagine the first stirrings of life in this ancient river valley. Large, lumbering creatures, relatives of today's elephants, wade into shallows in search of tender shoots. Their massive, curved tusks glint briefly in the dawn light as they rip sturdy water plants from the muddy floor. These are Stegodon indicus, ancestral giants whose footprints would one day be preserved in layers of sediment that future archaeologists might uncover. Each step they take releases a soft splash, echoing across the wide expanse like a muted drum. Listen to that echo. Let it synchronize with your breathing. Inhale slowly, feeling the cool mist brush your skin. Exhale and let go of any lingering tension. Nearby, along the riverbank, flocks of prehistoric waterfowl take flight in unison. Their wings beat with quiet determination, stirring the morning air and scattering droplets that catch the light like tiny diamonds. Watch as they rise in graceful arcs, their calls, nasal and resonant, fading into the distance. Feel the urge to follow them, to leave behind the solid ground and drift above reed beds and mud flats, carried by gentle breezes, but remain rooted. In comfort, allowing your body to sink further into repose as your mind journeys upstream alongside them. As you drift along this waking world, notice the silhouettes of long-necked creatures grazing on tall river grasses. These are Indricotherium, also known as Paraceratherium, the largest land mammals to have ever existed. Imagine one slowly lowering its massive head to graze, its nostrils flaring as it plucks leaves and stems with dexterous lips. Its skin, thick like folded leather, shimmers faintly as the sun crests the horizon. Each step sends tremors through soft, waterlogged ground. Beneath those tremors, you might sense your own heartbeat slow, matching their unhurried pace. Breathe in the subtle fragrance of damp earth mingled with crushed foliage, sweet and slightly tangy, as though the ground itself exudes life's earliest fragrance. Now shift your focus to the riverside's narrower channel, where a different giant stirs. The gharial, a long-snouted crocodilian, slips silently into the water, its eyes barely breaking the surface. Though smaller than some of its distant saurian cousins, its presence is no less commanding. Imagine watching it drift in shallow eddies, its elongated jaw slicing through ripples as it searches for fish. For a moment, its head tilts upward, nostrils flaring to the crisp morning air. You catch a glint. Those eyes, like dark polished onyx, reflect the first golden rays of sun. In that reflection, you see not just a reptile's gaze, but a mirror to an older world, a world where the river held mysteries as vast as the sky. Let the soft, repetitive lapping of water settle you further into calm. Each faint splash, each rustle of plants brushing together, synchronizes with your breathing. Inhale, feel the air fill your lungs with cool serenity. Exhale, release every ounce of awareness of the physical bed beneath you, as though you're floating just above the water's edge. Beyond the gharial's domain, a herd of ancient bovids, extinct relatives of wild cattle, emerges from thicker foliage. Their sturdy horns curve in elegant arcs, forming shapes reminiscent of forgotten calligraphy. They move as one, glancing warily at the river's edge before bending their heads to sample nutrient-rich aquatic grasses. Picture the dew-streaked plants parting beneath their muzzles, each bite creating ripples that spread across still pools. Think of how those ripples fade, how the water patiently waits for the next disturbance. And in that waiting, find your own stillness. Let disturbances fade within your mind as you yield to the river of sleep. Now, let your attention drift to a slender figure slipping silently through shallows. This is Cevatherium, a giraffe-like ruminant with robust antler-like ossicones branching from its skull. Its long legs step carefully to avoid abrupt sounds, each subtle movement barely disturbing the water's mirrored surface. As it raises its head to nibble at tender leaves just above the waterline, you imagine its antlers catching rays of light, forming delicate patterns on the riverbank. Perhaps a droplet slips from a broken reed and falls slowly toward the earth, each moment stretched in silent reverie. With each drop's descent, feel yourself drifting deeper, existing both in that singular moment and in a place beyond time. As the sun ascends higher, shafts of golden light penetrate through early morning clouds dancing across rippling water. In these beams, ghosts of ancient fish, like those of undulating coelacanths, momentarily swim before vanishing into memory. Though coelacanths once roamed here long before their modern counterparts were rediscovered, their spectral presence lingers as a reminder that life persists in hidden depths. Contemplate that persistence, a life form presumed extinct, suddenly found living in hidden caverns of the sea. Let it instill a sense of wonder in your mind, an assurance that sleep too may hide rejuvenation until you least expect awakening. Now shift your gaze along the banks to phantom flocks of giant birds. Among them is the extinct flamingo ancestor, Phoenicopterus inducensis, standing on one leg in shallow pools tinted by mineral-rich waters. Its slender neck curves downward, scythe-like, to sift through mud for tiny crustaceans. With each gulp of brackish water, its vibrant feathers absorb pigments that will one day create the rosy hue for which its descendants are known. Picture that pink glow shimmering against a backdrop of earthy tones, soft browns, muted greens, and pale blue skies. Feel the gentle contrast of warmth and coolness in the scene, the sun's heat tempered by river breezes. Let that interplay of elements guide you toward equilibrium, a reminder that comfort can exist in contrast and that balance leads you toward restful calm. As midday approaches, let the scene shift toward a small grove of date palms shading an oasis. Here, the extinct Bubulus mephistopheles, ancient wild buffalo, gathers with caution. Their massive horns curl in deadly arcs, yet their demeanor is calm as they graze on lush grasses sprouting around palm roots. Watch how their broad muzzles pluck at the greenery, sending blades of grass tumbling in gentle cascades. Each buffalo exhales a low bellow that reverberates across the sun-baked plains, a sound both ancient and grounding. Listen to that deep resonance and imagine it merging with the rhythm of your own chest, rising and falling. Inhale as the buffalo exhales. Exhale as the earth receives that breath. Let both breaths draw you into tranquil stillness. Just beyond this pastoral scene, notice small, nimble creatures scurrying along shaded banks. Ancient beavers, castoroid species, heftier than any modern beaver you have known. They chatter lightly to one another as they gather branches to build dams. Visualize the careful placement of each twig, the gentle rustle of leaves as they press them into place. Hear the quiet snapping of small logs as teeth gnaw through wood. These dams create calm pools where smaller fish hide and where aquatic plants thrive. In your mind's eye, see the water's surface transform into a mirror once more, reflecting a soft cerulean sky. Let that mirrored stillness transform into your own inner mirror, a place where turbulent thoughts settle and clear, leaving only serene reflection. Allow your awareness to drift toward the rich mosaic of human footprints that will one day overlay this land. Early inhabitants of the Indus Valley who pressed their first clay bricks into sun-dried kilns. Imagine for a moment that they see stegodons wading in shallow lagoons. Hear the rumble of mammoth herds migrating across ancient floodplains. Perhaps fear or revere these colossal beings as gods of the earth and water. Yet in this moment you need not fear. Instead, let empathy bloom as you consider how our ancestors learned to coexist with giants larger than any in their world. Their lives pulse through this river valley like silent tributaries beneath a larger current of history. Feel yourself connected not only to the animals of this realm, but also to the fragile, hopeful beginnings of human civilization. As the sun climbs to its zenith, let the heat shimmer across the landscape, causing distant objects to melt into wavering heat haze. The Indus River, wide and slow-moving, becomes a ribbon of molten silver, coaxing every creature to seek shade and rest. In this lull, let your own mind grow still. Imagine that ribbon carrying away any remaining flickers of awareness, carrying them downstream into distant horizons. With each passing moment, you sink deeper into comfort, your bed cradling you like the river cradles its cargo of life. Before you drift entirely away, sense a subtle shift on the horizon, a hint of something cold and stark, far removed from this warm, fertile world. Picture a boundary where sunlit waves yield to a realm of ice, where rivers freeze and giants of fur roam in search of moss and lichen beneath snowdrifts. Hold that thought at the edge of your awareness, a tease of what comes next. But for now, rest within the warm cradle of the Indus Plains, carried gently by the rhythms of ancient life and the promise of distant, frozen landscapes yet to be revealed. As the Indus waters carry you downstream and into dream's embrace, remember that. Far to the north, a world of ice awaits discovery. Soon we will journey across the frozen plains of ancient Siberia, where mammoths, bison, and the shadows of creatures lost to time roam beneath eternal snows. Let the warmth of this dawn settle in your bones and prepare for a colder, starlit adventure that beckons just beyond the horizon. Imagine a world where endless ice fields stretch beyond the horizon and the whisper of winter hides secrets older than memory. In the boundless expanse of ancient Siberia, where winds carry frozen breaths across a vast tundra, a chilling silence reigns supreme. As dawn's pale light brushes jagged ice ridges, you sense the presence of giant beasts adapted to this unforgiving realm. The frozen ground crunches beneath massive feet, creating echoes that disappear into the emptiness, as though swallowed by the wind itself. Every inhalation draws in cold, crystalline air. Every exhalation releases warmth that vanishes like a fleeting ember in the dark. Picture a colossal woolly mammoth herd crossing the plains. Their shaggy fur coats hang heavy with frost, and long, curved tusks rise like ivory arches against the white backdrop. Each mammoth exhales plumes of steam that drift skyward, dissipating into the frigid air. The herd moves in an orderly procession, guided by an ancient matriarch whose eyes hold generations of survival. Her tusks, worn smooth by years of foraging, sweep aside thick layers of snow to expose the dwarf willows beneath. Tender leaves emerge from beneath brittle crusts of ice, offering life-sustaining nourishment to these giants. Feel her presence as she pauses, nostrils flaring, sensing any hidden threats. In that moment, your own breath slows, matching the mammoth's calm determination. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Each cycle gently coaxing you deeper into a state of restful awareness. Beyond the mammoths, shaggy steppe bison roam in smaller groups, their thick coats rendering them nearly indistinguishable from drifting snowdrifts. These bison are powerful and sturdy, their curved horns framing faces lined with survival's logic. They graze on hardy grasses and mosses that push through cracks in the ice, each tethered cluster of vegetation, a beacon of hope in a world of stark white. The bison's broad hooves crunch over frosted grass and brittle twigs, creating a rhythmic counterpoint to the mammoth's deliberate steps. Listen to that crunch. Let it resonate within you, encouraging each muscle in your body to unwind. Your arms grow heavy, your legs relax, and your entire being sinks deeper into the supportive embrace of your bed. Now shift your gaze to a frozen river that stretches like a pale ribbon between rolling hills. Beneath its transparent surface, fish glide cautiously, adapted to survive in water temperatures near freezing. Their slow, deliberate movements evoke ancient rhythms older than human memory. A prehistoric predatory bird, the majestic Haast's eagle, soars overhead, its massive wings casting fleeting shadows across the ice. Its sharp talons glance off the surface as it stoops to snatch a small Arctic vole that scuttles beneath a thin layer of snow. Notice the faint gleam of its beak catching shards of early sunlight. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs with the crisp scent of melting snow and mineral-rich water, and exhale slowly, allowing any remaining tension to fade. Away like footprints in fresh drifts, in a nearby glacial meltwater stream, prehistoric salmon attempt upstream journeys to spawn. Their silvery bodies glint beneath a thin layer of ice, fins brushing against the cold surface. Watch one salmon push against the icy barrier, its gills flaring as it strains for each breath. Imagine your own breath slowing to match its effort. Deep inhale, slow exhale, mirroring the salmon's relentless determination. As the salmon perseveres, droplets of icy water scatter like frozen pearls before landing softly on the stream's surface. Let that image guide you toward deeper relaxation, each droplet a drop of calm dissolving into your mind. Let your attention wander now to a hidden valley where a family of ground sloths shares this harsh climate. Their immense limbs dig into thick snow to uncover roots and ancient bark buried beneath layers of ice. Feel a shiver at the sight of their curved claws curling into the frozen ground, each precise shovel revealing subterranean lichen clinging to bedrock. Their slow, deliberate movements echo the serenity of a meditation practiced over ages. Each crash of displaced ice punctuates the hushed expanse, a reminder that stillness often coexists with motion. Breathe in the musty fragrance of thawing earth and lichens, and let your own mind settle like snowflakes gently drifting to the tundra floor. Further afield, steppe wolves prowl in lean packs, their fur coats blending seamlessly with snow-swept grasses. Their eyes glow faintly with amber fire as they communicate in low whimpers and huffs, passing silent messages through frosty air. One wolf stops to lift its head, howling a note that vibrates through the brittle silence. That haunting call crescendos, echoing among frozen ridges like a timeless lament. Feel the vibration resonate in your chest, entwining with each heartbeat. Inhale deeply, drawing the wolf's resolute spirit into your core. Exhale and release any lingering restlessness, letting it be carried away by the icy breeze. As you drift in this frozen tableau, imagine a group of cave lions emerging from a rocky outcrop. These powerful predators boast thick manes dusted with frost, their muscular frames rippling with latent energy. They pad across the snow, silent despite their size, muscles coiled for sudden bursts of motion. Picture one immobilizing a steppe bison calf, its sleek form disappearing into the white haze. The struggle is brief but intense, ending with a final exhalation that drifts skyward like a spirit released. In that exhalation, find a fleeting echo of release within your own body. Exhale all tension. Allow any strain to evaporate into the silent air. Beyond the lions, the almond-shaped eyes of a woolly rhinoceros reflect ancient resilience. Its massive horn, frosted at the tip, glistens like a crystalline beacon against a sky tinged with swirling snowflakes. Watch as it plows through deep drifts in search of hidden lichens and mosses. With each stomp of its broad hooves, powdery snow explodes in miniature flurries, carrying delicate patterns before settling quietly. The rhinoceros pauses to lower its wide, leathery muzzle into the snow, breathing in the faint scent of moss and bark. Inhale that aroma, letting it fill you with a sense of grounded strength. Exhale calmly and let the slow, methodical rhythm of foraging embed itself in your consciousness, smoothing away every knot of tension. Glide now to a frozen lake shimmering under a pale winter sun. Across its crystalline surface, a flock of prehistoric swans glides in serene formation. Their long necks curve gracefully, and their radiant feathers appear luminous against the stark white. Picture them dipping their bills to peck for aquatic plants beneath the ice, each movement deliberate and measured. Watch as ice crystals scatter in minute shimmering arcs, recalling stardust drifting through a silent galaxy. Inhale the faint briny hint of water mixed with the crisp scent of ice. And exhale, allowing each breath to guide you deeper into stillness, releasing all that remains of wakeful tension. As twilight descends across the tundra, icy crystals embedded in grass shimmer like countless distant stars. The sky shifts to indigo, and pale constellations begin to emerge. In the distance, a giant musk ox huddles with its kin, forming a protective circle around calves sporting thick winter coats. Picture their bodies nestled close, sharing warmth against the cold. One calf rests its head against the mother's broad flank, inhaling the scent of fur and sweat, a scent that speaks of survival and unity. Let their close bond flow into your awareness as a comforting blanket, easing any last flickers of distraction. Each inhale feeds you the quiet strength of their community. Each exhale empties you of lingering unrest. Now visualize a lone reindeer resting beside a drifted snowbank, its antlers crowned with delicate frost crystals that glisten in the moonlight. It lowers its head in peaceful repose, breathing out, a gentle plume of vapor that ascends into the starlit expanse. Feel that hush, an encompassing stillness enveloping you. In that moment, you and the reindeer share silent communion in this vast frozen wilderness. Let each exhalation carry you further from noise and into the serene embrace of restful sleep, as though you too are settling into the carefully sculpted snow. As the seasons shift imperceptibly on this frozen canvas, imagine ice melting along. Hidden streams releasing droplets that sparkle like diamonds under intermittent rays. Ancient human hunters once tread these plains, their footsteps faintly pressed into sediment that would last for millennia. Picture a flickering fire nestled in a snow-walled pit where they huddled for warmth, sharing hushed stories beneath. Dancing auroras that draped green and violet veils across a star-drenched sky. The light show overhead weaves shadows that weave among frozen pillars as though the very air itself performs an otherworldly ballet. Inhale that scene of communal warmth. Exhale and allow the flicker of flame to transform into a steady, tranquil glow within your mind. In that same darkness, fossil hunters millennia later discover tusk shards and bone fragments weathered by wind and snow. Each fragment carries echoes of a life once lived, the curve of a mammoth's tusk hinting at its age and lineage, the worn edge of a cave lion's tooth, recalling a final triumphant hunt. Consider how these relics connect the living and the ice, long extinct, forming bridges across time that ignite our curiosity. Feel yourself tethered to both past and future as you drift between waking awareness and the realm of dreams. Breathe in the sense of wonder. Breathe out all that keeps you anchored to wakefulness. Under the swirling glow of northern lights, the tundra transforms into a realm of enchantment where shadows twist and dissolve into ethereal shapes. Let those shapes float in your mind's eye, guiding you deeper into peaceful oblivion. Your body grows heavy, drifting toward a place where the boundary between past and present dissolves completely. Each breath becomes a gentle inhale of crisp air and a soft exhale that releases any lingering awareness of the world left behind. The frozen plains embrace you as one of their own, cradling you in a hush that transcends time. And so, dear wanderer, let the ever-present hush of Siberian winds carry you through the night. Let woolly mammoths roam your dreams. Let wolves sing you into tranquil slumber, and let the aurora's dance wrap you in colors of serenity. Rest now and awaken renewed, guided by the echoes of a world that once whispered across endless ice. Good night, and may your sleep be as deep and unbroken as the ancient permafrost beneath your feet. But remember, distant whispers beckon still. Even now, visitors to Mediterranean caves uncover faded fragments of ancient bone, connecting our world to even older mysteries. That journey awaits as you slip into slumber's gentle embrace. Let the hush of Siberian snow linger in your heart and awaken with the promise of a new adventure across forgotten landscapes. Imagine walking into a dimly lit Mediterranean cave where the echoes of your steps mingle with whispers from the distant past. As you step inside a shadowy cavern carved by millennia of dripping water and shifting stone, the air grows cooler and denser. The faint glow of your flashlight reveals walls etched with mineral veins that glisten like fossilized veins of living light, preserved in layers of limestone. Beneath your feet, the ground is uneven and slightly damp, each footfall dislodging, a tiny pebble that clatters softly against ancient rock. Breathe in slowly. The scent of earth, tinged with a hint of moisture and mineral dust, fills your lungs. As you exhale, imagine releasing every concern and tension you carried outside, allowing the cave's hush to cradle you in stillness. Further in, the passage narrows, forcing you to lower your head as stalactites hang from the ceiling like stone. Icicles, tiny droplets fall intermittently, producing a rhythmic plinking sound that echoes through the narrow corridor. Let this sound guide your breathing. Inhale as you hear the droplet form. Pause as it hangs suspended. Exhale when it finally falls, each cycle coaxing your mind closer to quiet reflection. In this meditative rhythm, you sense that the cave itself is alive, breathing in slow motion, its heartbeat resonating through the floor and into your own chest. With each breath, you sink deeper into a state of receptive wonder. As you emerge into a broader chamber, the flicker of your light reveals fragments of bone strewn among scattered debris, ancient relics hidden for thousands of years. Some lie half-buried in calcite deposits, their pale surfaces glowing softly in the light's beam. Others remain embedded in the rock face itself, as though the very walls guard a secret from the dawn of life. These bones belong to creatures, long extinct, cave bears whose massive skulls once roamed dark forests, giant deer with sprawling antlers that grazed in primeval meadows, and hyenas whose powerful jaws cracked bones in a dance of survival. Each fragment, whether a slender rib or a knobbly joint, is a whisper of a world that predates human memory, an echo of tremors that once shook the soil above, and of predators that hunted beneath starless skies. Trace your fingertips along the worn surface of a limestone platform where a partial skull rests. Its porous texture feels cold, so ancient that it seems to span epochs of time. Imagine the beast that carried this skull, perhaps a cave bear, Ursus spelaeus, whose hulking form thundered through snowy forests during the last ice age. Feel the echo of its roar as it challenged rival males or defended a hidden den where newborn cubs huddled against the cold. Let that roar transform into a low rumble of thrill within your own chest, reminding you of the fragile vigor that once pulsed through its bones and now pulses through your veins. Inhale deeply, as though drawing strength from that prehistoric life force. Exhale slowly, surrendering to the cave's tranquil embrace. A few steps away, a cluster of fragmented tusks emerges from a soft mound of calcite. These ivory remnants once capped the head of a straight-tusked elephant, Paleoloxodon antiquus, whose massive bulk inspired awe among early humans living near the Mediterranean shore. Picture that giant as it ambled through oak forests, its trunk plucking tender shoots from low branches and guiding a family herd toward freshwater springs. Imagine how its tusks shone in the sun, curved like crescent moons poised against a cloudless sky. Now close your eyes and feel your body ease deeper into the bed, each mattress coil cradling you, as though you too lie among ancient stone. Near that tusk fragment lies a partial mandible of a cave hyena, Crocuta spelaea, its teeth, jagged with triangular enamel, perfectly adapted for crushing bone. Picture this predator investigating the edge of a human encampment, attracted by smoke-scented meat hanging over a fire. Feel the tension in that moment as the hyena's growl filled the air and the crackle of flames cast long, flickering shadows on canvas shelters. But as you lie comfortably in your bed, allow that moment to dissolve into calm, knowing you are safely removed from any danger. Inhale the tension as though drawing it into your awareness. Exhale and let all fear dissipate into the cave's timeless hush. Carried away by silent currents, on the ceiling above you, faint patches of ancient ochre pigments hint at artistry older than written history, though no elaborate paintings survive. Here, these subtle stains recall the hands of early humans who ventured into these dark passages, perhaps driven by ritual or a primal curiosity. They may have knelt before the mouth of this cave, eyes adjusting from bright daylight to near darkness, and left simple markings as a sign of existence, 3 ochre lines or a handprint dipped in natural pigment. Feel yourself kneeling beside them, heart pounding with shared wonder at the flicker of firelight on rough walls. Inhale that shared pulse across time. Exhale and allow yourself to merge with a lineage of seekers who looked into shadows and found meaning there. Across the chamber, a partial pelvis bone of a mammoth, Mammuthus primigenius, lies coated in soft sediment. Tilt your head to see the graceful arc of its shape, thick enough to have supported enormous muscles that propelled the mammoth across frozen steppes. That mighty beast must have trumpeted in icy mists, its breath forming vaporous clouds against frosty air. Now in the cave's gentle darkness, allow that phantom vapor to drift into your own breath. Inhale, feeling the crisp air fill your lungs. Exhale, releasing any friction of wakeful thought. Your body sinks deeper into restful surrender. As the echo of mammoth breath fades into silence, wander with your mind to the fringes of that ancient forest, where Neanderthals once hunted and scoured the landscape for shelter. Their footprints here are long gone, but the stones they flaked into tools lie scattered among the bone fragments, tiny blades of flint that still bear the faint sheen of purposeful craftsmanship. Inhale the ghost of the flint's edge, each microza, reflecting the ingenuity of hands that shaped survival from raw stone. Exhale, and let the memory of their achievement reinforce your own sense of continuity, that you too participate in an unbroken chain of curiosity, artistry, and adaptation. Continue deeper into the cave, where narrow corridors branch like ancient river channels eroded by time. As you navigate through these passages, keep your breathing slow and measured. Inhale as you lean forward into darkness. Exhale as the light behind you dims. At one point, you emerge into a chamber where water pools on the stone floor, forming a mirror that reflects the cave's ceiling like a portal to another world. Peer into that pool and see the faint outline of a fossilized jawbone jutting out of a calcite shelf, perhaps belonging to a prehistoric caprid, an ancestor of modern ibex that climbed sheer cliffs with impossible agility. Imagine the deft sure-footedness of that creature as it navigated ridges far above the valley floor, its hooves finding purchase on the tiniest ledges. Inhale that sense of balance and precision. Exhale and let your body feel supported and grounded. A short distance away, a large fragment of fossilized femur stands upright, embedded in mineral deposits so precisely that it appears as a natural pillar. This bone once supported a giant deer, Megaloceros giganteus, whose antlers spanned nearly 4 meters from tip to tip. Visualize those spectacular antlers silhouetted against fading sun, a majestic crown atop a deer that seemed to carry the sky. Picture the antlers locking in combat with rivals under the glow of a golden harvest moon. Feel your own head crowned by that vision, each antler extending outwards as a symbol of strength and elegance. Inhale the grandeur of that image. Exhale, allowing the grace of that majestic deer to infuse your senses with tranquility. As you continue exploring, notice how the cave's temperature remains steady and cool, a constant 70 or so degrees Fahrenheit beneath the blazing sun. Outside, feel that stable coolness seep into your skin like a gentle balm, calming any residual restlessness in your muscles. Let your arms sink heavier, your legs soften, and your back press into the mattress as though the entire world is cradling you in this moment. Each breath becomes a wave of relaxation flowing through your body, guiding you to sink deeper into the embrace of rest. Toward the far end of the chamber, a small alcove houses fragmented remains of a prehistoric turtle, Testudo, Hermione ancestor, its shell cracked but still retaining the intricate pattern of scutes. Visualize that ancient reptile basking on a sun-warmed rock near a shallow spring, unaware of the encroaching chill of coming seasons. Feel the gentle warmth of that sun as it carries through time to your own bed. Inhale that gentle heat and exhale any final tensions that cling to your thoughts. A faint drip from above draws your attention to a stalagmite forming beside a cluster of small bones, juvenile wolf remains whose prey habits once shaped the rhythms of cave life. Listen to the drip, drip, drip as it falls, each drop echoing like a distant bell. Let the sound guide your eyelids to grow heavy, each echo moving you closer to the threshold of sleep. Each drop expands on the floor like a ripple of calm, encouraging every nerve to dissolve into ease. Before leaving this subterranean tableau, imagine a future archaeologist uncovering these fragments. They carefully brush away dust, record every contour and fracture, and piece together the story of lives long gone. A bear mother whose cubs once nestled in this exact chamber, a deer so large its antlers almost filled a hunter's outstretched arms, a wolf whose fierce loyalty shaped pack dynamics in a world on the edge of climatic shift. Sense the reverence they feel in that moment, preserved across centuries of learning and inquiry. Inhale their awe, exhale a profound sense of connection to both past and future. Understand that the cave's secrets belong not to you alone, but to every curious soul willing to listen to its silent song. Now let your awareness shift to the threshold of the cave as you prepare to step back into daylight. But before you do, remember one last fragment, a single bone shard barely visible beneath a thin layer of calcite. It is a humble piece of prehistory, yet it holds potential. The potential to alter our understanding of evolution, migration, and the intricate dance between environment and life. Let that tiny shard remind you that even the smallest detail can carry immense weight, much like a soft breath can transform the trajectory of thought. Breathe in that realization, breathe out and surrender entirely to the gentle descent into sleep carried by the cave's ancient pulse. As you leave the cave's mysteries behind and feel the warmth of sunlight caress your skin once more, remember that deserts also whisper their own secrets of time. Ahead lies a landscape where dust-laden winds drift across ruins more than 5,000 years old. Soon, we will cross the desert winds that move gently across the ruins of ancient Sumer, where the first cities flickered to life beside rivers, long since starved of water. Let the memory of bone fragments in silent caves linger in your mind as we prepare to wander through sun-bleached brickwork and find history etched in crumbling mud. What if the murmurs of wind over cracked clay bricks carried the echoes of voices that shaped the earliest chapters of civilization? As the desert winds move gently across the ruins of ancient Sumer, a soft haze of golden dust floats above, the sun-baked earth whispering secrets from 5 millennia ago. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast plain where the remains of mud brick walls and crumbling ziggurats rise like ghostly silhouettes against a pastel sky. Beneath your feet, the ground is solid but uneven, littered with fragments of carved stone and ceramic shards that once bore the images of deities and kings. Each slow step stirs a fine mist of dust that settles on sandals and skin. Breathe in the warmth and the faint scent of sun-dried clay. Allow your breaths to lengthen. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, melding with the deliberate rhythm of history itself. In this realm where the Tigris and Euphrates once nourished fertile fields, the first cities of Uruk and Eridu thrived. Their people invented writing with wedge-tipped reeds pressed into damp clay, forging symbols that would endure long after their builders turned to dust. Picture a Sumerian scribe bent over a slanted tabletop, dipping his stylus into a shallow basin of water and pressing each wedge into soft clay tablets. Feel the slight resistance of clay against reed and the gentle click of stylus against tabletop as words took shape, symbols for grain, for sheep, for the name of a god, for a king's decree. As you sink deeper into this image, let the clicking rhythm echo in your mind. Click, 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 each sound coaxing your thoughts towards stillness. Beyond the scribal workshops, imagine broad avenues lined with statues of lions and bulls, the guardians of sacred shrines. Their eyes would have glowed when torches were lit at dusk, casting flickering shadows that danced across patterned walls. Now, only broken heads and fluted columns remain, shards of once grand reliefs scattered at the base of collapsed lintels. Yet, as you wander through these ruins, sense that beneath the silence lies the pulse of everyday life. The braying of donkeys carrying loads of barley, the murmur of merchants haggling over dates and cheese, the distant chanting of priests offering libations to Inanna, the goddess of love and war. Slowly let your awareness drift to the edge of a once thriving canal that ran like a lifeline through the city. Its banks would have been lined with reeds and lined with steps, where women drew water each morning to feed infants and quench the thirst of livestock. Today, only a narrow trench remains, filled sporadically with water seeping from the earth. Visualize those women bending at the water's edge, their garments brushing against cool ripples, the tip of each reed rustling under their touch. Imagine reaching down to feel that cool water slipping between fingers, bringing relief in this heat. Inhale deeply, drawing in the memory of living water. Exhale, allowing any remaining restlessness to fade like spilled water soaking into parched soil. Gaze upward at a low hill crowned by the remnants of a ziggurat, its core of mud brick exposed by centuries of wind and sand. This once massive temple towered as a ladder to heaven, each tier dedicated to a deity. At its peak, priests performed rituals intended to maintain cosmic balance, sacrificing animals and offering libations of beer to Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, or to Enlil, the god of air. Feel the weight of those ceremonies, the tremor of drumming, the murmur of chants, the flicker of flame across polished bronze vessels. Now only fractured tiered platforms remain, but you can sense a residue of sacred intent clinging to the cracked bricks. Let that residue seep into your awareness, a gentle warmth that spreads like softened clay across your chest and arms, coaxing every muscle to loosen. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie buried beneath shifting sands, waiting to whisper the origins of kings and gods? Imagine a buried archive concealed deep within a temple cella, where clay tablets lay hidden for centuries. Scholars in modern times uncovered these archives and deciphered the cuneiform script to reveal stories of Gilgamesh, the semi-mythical king whose epic journey sought immortality. Visualize the legendary cedar forest guarded by the monstrous Humbaba, its monstrous roar echoing through primordial woods. As Gilgamesh's footsteps crushed ancient soil, the air would have smelled of resin and damp moss, each breath carrying both awe and dread. Now, as you lie comfortably in bed, let the heroic resonance of Gilgamesh's quest infuse your own dreams. Inhale the pulse of adventure and knowledge. Exhale the tension binding your limbs, leaving behind only the spark of curiosity. Shift your thoughts to the domestic sphere, where the scent of freshly baked flatbread wafted from oven pits each dawn. Imagine families kneading dough, the grain milled from barley harvested under hot sun, water drawn from canals, and salt traded from arid hills. Women worked in pairs, turning loaves on smooth stones, heated by glowing embers. Hear the soft slap of dough against wooden boards, the faint crackle of embers surrendering to dough's warmth. Taste the yeasty aroma as loaves popped from their communal ovens, ready to nourish strong laborers and weary travelers alike. Let that aroma drift into your nostrils as though you lie by a warm hearth. Inhale it deeply. Exhale any burnished tension in your jaw or shoulders, allowing each chew of imaginary bread to break down cares you might still hold. In the marketplace, imagine merchants balanced on raised platforms, calling out the weight and quality of goods. Their voices, pitched to carry above the crowd, resonated like a low, inviting hum. See copper bowls filled with dried figs and sweet dates, stacked high beside bowls of fresh cheeses, yielding aromatic complexity. Each ounce traded, each shekel of silver exchanged, represented a story of cooperation and competition. Let that sense of shared commerce ripple across your consciousness, an undercurrent of connection that gently pulls you away from isolated thoughts into a state of wholeness. Breathe in that unity, breathe out any lingering sense of separation, sinking into a calm awareness of being part of something larger. The midday sun climbs higher, painting the horizon with a soft haze. Shadows shrink as the heat intensifies and dust devils swirl above the broken bricks. In that heat, a gentle mirage forms on the distant plain. Close your eyes briefly and feel a warmth spreading from your chest to your fingertips, like sunlight warming every nerve in your body. Allow your scalp to dissolve into that warmth, melting away persistent tension in your temples. With each breath, imagine warmth coursing through your veins like golden liquid, relaxing shoulders, back, hips, and legs, guiding each limb into a state of serene submission. Across the plain, archaeologists once discovered cylinder seals, small, intricately carved stones rolled across wet clay to leave impressions depicting hunting scenes, deities, or floral motifs. Envision an artisan dipping a seal into a shallow dish of ink, then rolling it along a fresh tablet to record a land sale or marriage contract. The impression left was both functional and beautiful, a snapshot of culture embedded in wax or clay. Picture that small act. The delicate pressure of the seal in the artisan's hand, the tapestry of imagery emerging with each turn. Let that image instill meticulous calm in your mind, as though every detail, every grain of ink, every relief on the seal draws you deeper into a state of contemplative stillness. Inhale the precision and artistry. Exhale extraneous thoughts that clutter your mind. Toward the evening, gentle breezes pick up, stirring salty particles from distant marshes where reeds sway. Fisherfolk navigate shallow waters in reed canoes, their nets cast wide to trap silvery fish shimmering in the dying light. Hear the gentle splash as nets break the water's mirror surface, sending ripples that dance across moonlit reflections. Now imagine the taste of freshly smoked fish, the tenderness preserved by aromatic spices. As you lie in bed, imagine taking a bite. Flavors of smoke, salt, and spice weaving through your senses. Each imaginary chew loosens tension in your jaw and throat. Breathe in the sensory memory of taste and texture. Breathe out residue of tension from every muscle, letting it drain like water from a clay vessel. As dusk approaches, the silhouettes of temple towers glow with ember light, torches flickering along stairways leading to roof shrines. Priests carry bowls of incense into dark sanctums, the sweet fragrance weaving through marble columns and gilded statues. Picture the curling smoke rising in slow spirals, each tendril carrying prayers upward. Feel the fragrant smoke graze your skin, bringing an almost sleepy heaviness to your eyelids. Inhale that scent deeply. Let it swirl through your lungs like a warm, phosphorescent mist. Exhale slowly, imagining any remaining wakeful thoughts dissipating like smoke into sheer darkness. What hidden chapters await beyond these silken dunes, where forests and waterfalls pulse with life unseen by gentle Sumerian eyes before? Drifting into dreams, consider that though these ruins lie abandoned, the river still nourishes distant lands. Soon, we will venture into a world where verdant canopies envelop everything, where the roar of rivers and cries of exotic birds weave an orchestral tapestry. Our next destination is the Amazon rainforest, a realm so alive that every leaf and creature hums with cosmic vitality. But for now, let the ancient clay and whispered prayers of Sumer cradling you, guiding you gently toward the realm of sleep. What if every breath you take carried the symphony of a living cathedral so vast it defies reason? As you step into the Amazon rainforest, imagine the hushed roar of countless leaves colliding overhead, a living ceiling that stretches beyond sight. In this realm of perpetual green, each leaf is a note in an orchestral masterpiece that has been composed over millennia. The air here is thick with humidity, warm, almost syrupy, each inhalation drawing in a bouquet of scents, the sweet, musky fragrance of orchids clinging to tree trunks, the faint, sharp tang of citrus from wild citrus species hidden in shaded clearings, and the earthy aroma of decaying wood and fallen leaves, which serves as a foundation for all other scents. A primordial reminder that life here is built upon the slow return of broken entities to the soil. Feel that humid weight settle on your skin as though the atmosphere itself embraces you, inviting every fiber of your being to relinquish tension and merge with the forest's pulse. Beneath the canopy's towering, cathedral-like arches, buttress roots of ancient kapok and Brazil nut trees fan out across the forest floor like the gnarled fingers of sleeping giants. These roots create labyrinthine pathways between mounds of moss and lichen, offering safe passage for ground-dwelling creatures. As you walk, sense the gentle give of damp soil and leaf litter beneath each foot. You tread on layers of life that have accumulated over centuries. Every step releases microscopic spores that drift upward, mingling with drifting pollen in a silent ballet. Let your footsteps slow to a whisper, honoring the delicate ecosystem that supports both gargantuan and microscopic forms of life. With each careful footfall, feel your muscles unwind and your breathing align with the rainforest's steady rhythm. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Each breath another thread woven into the tapestry of tranquility. In the dappled light, slender lianas drape between branches like verdant ropes in an endless aerial playground. These vines serve as highways for howler monkeys, capuchins, and spider monkeys who swing with astonishing agility above the forest floor. Imagine the sudden whoosh of air as a troop of monkeys arcs overhead, their calls echoing in a crescendo of excited chatter and territorial warning. Feel a thrill ripple through your spine as one particularly daring spider monkey swoops close, its tail wrapping securely around a vine before hurling itself forward in a fluid blur of black fur. Let your heart synchronize with their exuberance. Inhale as you imagine their upward swing. Exhale as they land lightly on a nearby branch, each cycle deepening your relaxation, reminding you of freedom's unspoken power. Have you ever wondered what secrets whisper through vines older than human memory, where hidden eyes watch every step you take? Turn your attention to the watercourses that crisscross this living labyrinth, veins of life pulsing through the forest. Rivers, streams, and oxbow lakes shimmer like molten silver ribbons under the canopy's latticework. Listen to the gentle murmur of water navigating roots and rocks, creating ripples that send tiny waves across mirror-like surfaces. In these waters, piranhas glide with a subtle menace, their torpedo-shaped bodies undulating beneath lily pads. Imagine their toothy grins as they snap up fallen fruit or unsuspecting insects, each movement precise, each strike a reminder of survival's delicate edge. Yet, here they do not evoke fear, but awe, a testament to balance as they serve both predator and prey in the wider web of life. With every thought of their silent glide, feel your breath grow slow, matching the piranha's measured movement. Inhale, exhale. Inhaling the current's calm, exhaling any remaining tension. Near the water's edge, you may glimpse the flash of turquoise and red as a pair of vibrant macaws calls to each other from a perch atop a fallen log. Their feathers blaze with colors as though carved from gemstones, sapphire, ruby, emerald, all swirling in dazzling contrast against the muted browns and greens around them. Picture them rubbing beaks, a ritual of bonding, before launching skyward in synchronized flight. The beating of their wings creates a soft breeze that barely stirs the air, yet every movement ripples through the forest's acoustic tapestry. Let that gentle breeze brush against your skin as though you stand beneath their flight path. With each gust, let your consciousness drift further from the confines of daily concerns, carried upward like a feather until you float in relaxed harmony. On the forest floor, hidden beneath broad leaves and ferns, leafcutter ants form endless trails that wind like miniature highways through the undergrowth. Observe their single-minded devotion as they ferry bits of foliage to underground chambers where they cultivate fungus that sustains their populous colonies. Each ant's mandibles clamp so firmly onto leaf fragments that the microblade serrations leave nearly invisible imprints. Imagine crouching close, feeling the gentle hum of their movement through the fallen leaves, a steady undercurrent beneath the symphony above. Let their unwavering diligence become a mantra for your mind. Inhale as they march forward, exhale as they reach their destination, each cycle a step closer to inner calm, each tiny motion reflecting the beauty of purpose unbounded by haste. In a small clearing where sunlight pierces the canopy, a motley congregation of hummingbirds flits among vibrant flowers, scarlet arums, orchid clusters, and bromeliads. Their wings beat so rapidly they appear as a rainbow-hued blur, a vibrating testament to energy harnessed into feathered bodies no larger than a palm. Watch as they dive into tubular blossoms, tongues flicking to extract nectar, each feeding, a mini ceremony of grace. Listen to the soft hum of their wings blending with the breeze, a delicate counterpoint to the louder calls resonating above. As you observe their seemingly effortless dance, let your own breath adopt a lighter quality. Inhale softly as their wings flutter, exhale gently as they hover and dart, allowing the frenetic grace to guide you into serene stillness. Everywhere you look, life teems on branches and trunks, Bromeliads cradle pools of water high above the forest floor, each miniature pond a self-contained ecosystem home to tadpoles, insects, and the occasional poison dart frog. Imagine peering into one such pool, spotting a tiny fluorescent green frog perched atop a leaf, its skin glistening with moisture. As it calls, a high-pitched trill ringing like a bell in the humidity, you sense its presence, both fragile and ferocious, a tiny sentinel safeguarding an entire microcosm. Let its call resonate inside you, a reminder that even the smallest voice can ripple through vast expanses. Inhale the faint sweetness of moss and orchid nectar. Exhale the solidity of any lingering restlessness slipping away. Higher still, sloths cling languidly to branches, their long limbs winding around trunks in a pose that seems forever relaxed. Their shaggy fur, thick with symbiotic algae, blends seamlessly with moss and lichen, rendering them nearly invisible. As you watch one extend a slow, deliberate arm to pluck tender leaves, feel the deep ease in its unhurried existence. Its metabolism runs at a languid pace, each movement a deliberate choice. Let that deliberate pace inform your breathing. Inhale as the sloth reaches out. Exhale as it closes its long, curved claws around a leaf, transforming you into a vessel of calm, each nerve softening, each muscle surrendering. At the base of a massive Brazil nut tree, tapirs shuffle through fallen fruits and seeds, their prehensile snouts sifting through spongy soil in search of nourishment. These gentle giants move with surprising stealth, powerful bodies undetectable under layers of fur. Picture one pausing to sniff the air, nostrils flaring as it senses distant predators or finds ripest fruits hidden beneath leaf litter. In that moment, imagine your own senses heightening, not to alertness, but to serene awareness. Allow your breath to slow further, each inhale steeped in the forest's secret bounty, each exhale releasing any remnant of haste, deeper in the he. Understory, jaguar paws tread softly on leaf litter, muscular silhouettes gliding through shafts of light and shadow. Though nocturnal, jaguars rest here during daylight hours, hidden among dense tangles. Picture one stirring, stretching out sinewy limbs and yawning to reveal powerful jaws and razor-sharp teeth. Its spotted coat blends with mottled light like an intricate camouflage, visible only to the hunter's trained eye. Feel a pulse of respect course through your body at the sight of this apex predator, majestic, silent, and utterly at home. As the jaguar's body relaxes back into silent vigilance, let that profound ease echo within you, dissolving tension. With each measured breath, inhale, exhale, inhaling reverence, exhaling tranquility. What if the pulse of this emerald world is but the prelude to wider horizons, where golden seas of grass beckon under endless skies? But beyond the forest's emerald embrace lies a realm where grass waves like an ocean and creatures thunder across open plains. Soon our journey will carry us to the wind-swept expanses of the American Midwest, where bison roam, prairies stretch to infinity, and the sky reigns supreme. For now, let the hum of cicadas, the whisper of leaves, and the gentle hum of hummingbird wings guide you into the deep restorative sleep waiting on the threshold of dreams. Have you ever felt the brush of unseen currents as wind races across endless grass, carrying whispers of creatures and cultures long gone? As you open your eyes in spirit, behold the vast expanse of the American Midwest's open plains, an ocean of grasses stretching so far that the horizon seems to fold into the sky itself. In this realm, the wind is both sculptor and herald, sweeping across rolling hills with a force that feels ancestral, as though it recalls every hoofbeat, every migrating flock, every whisper of human passage that has ever graced this land. Breathe deeply, drawing in the scent of warm earth mingled with wildflower pollen, and feel the gentle sway of tall prairie grasses brushing against your legs, a living sea that responds to wind's caress. Let your senses awaken to the interplay of air and land. Inhale the crispness of open sky. Exhale all tension and allow your mind to drift into the heartbeat of the plains. The ground beneath you is firm, seated with a tapestry of perennial grasses. Big, blue stem, Indian grass, switchgrass, each blade rising like a sentinel, their tips bending and bowing to the unseen conductor that is the wind. As you walk, listen to that characteristic susurrus, the faint rustle of grass blades, layered in countless overlapping rhythms that converge into a living lullaby. Inhale this lullaby as though it were a potion, each breath pulling you deeper into the plain's gentle grip. Exhale and surrender any lingering sense of urgency, letting your body grow heavy, as if anchored by the earth itself. Imagine a herd of bison moving slowly across the prairie, their broad heads lowered as they graze upon nutritious grasses. The fierce morning light catches the sheen of their thick brown hides, mottled in places by dried mud, and illuminates their shaggy manes that hang like tattered banners of an ancient age. Each exhalation from a bison forms a faint vapor plume in cooler air, dissipating quickly under the sun's growing warmth. Feel your own breath synchronize with theirs. Inhale as they inhale, exhale as they exhale, until your heartbeat aligns with the herd's unhurried rhythm. In that merging, sense the magnitude of heritage they carry. Millions of years of adaptation, a lineage that once numbered in the tens of millions, now concentrated into a living fragment that roams these plains as a testament to resilience. Nearby, pronghorns bound across the landscape in small family groups, their slender forms gliding over low-rolling knolls like living arrows. Notice how their tan hides and white rumps blend seamlessly with the golden hues of late summer grasses. As they lift their heads to scan the horizon, their dark eyes flick with motion, ears swiveling to catch the slightest shift of wind or call of a threatened mate. Feel a thrill as they spring into sudden flight, legs extending in a blur of coordinated harmony. Inhale the exhilaration of their speed. Exhale the tension in your muscles, allowing that spark of vitality to transform into deep calm. Farther off, a solitary gray wolf moves with quiet purpose along a shallow riverbank, its coat a clockwork tapestry of grays, blacks, and tans that breaks apart any hint of silhouette. The wolf pauses to drink, its slender muzzle parting ripples across mirror-like water. In that stillness, you might see reflections of migrating sandhill cranes overhead, dozens of them in V formation, their wings beating against the sky in wide arcs. Their high-pitched calls echo across the air, a plaintive lullaby that fits perfectly into the plain's song. As the wolf lifts its head, droplets cascade from its chin, each drop a tiny mirror reflecting the boundless sky. Inhale the crisp scent of riparian vegetation, willows, cottonwoods, wild mint. Exhale any last scrap of mental clutter, feeling your body sink deeper into serenity. The prairie unfolds in waves where grasses bend and rise in shifting patterns, mimicking the gentle swell of an emerald sea. Interspersed are patches of purple, coneflower, prairie clover, and goldenrod, each bloom adding a vivid splash of color to the tapestry. Monarch butterflies flit among these wildflowers, their orange and black wings catching the wind as they migrate northward, a living symbol of season cycles and the vast interconnectedness of life. Imagine one landing briefly on a droplet-laden petal, its wings folding as it sips nectar. Each delicate beat of its wings is a heartbeat of the prairie itself. Inhale as it lifts off, exhale as the breeze carries it toward unknown destinations. Did you know that beneath your feet lies a hidden network of roots and microorganisms, older than the first settlers, An underground kingdom as alive and complex as the grass above? Let your imagination venture further into the prairie's secret realm, the brown world just inches below the surface, where roots of prairie grasses intertwine to create an intricate mat. Big blue stem roots can descend more than 10 feet into the topsoil, anchoring the plant against drought and fire. Picture these roots as sinewy cords weaving through the earth, providing stability and nourishment in a fragile environment. As you visualize their dark tendrils, sense your own root-like connection to the ground beneath your mattress. Inhale the sense of anchored stability. Exhale the feeling of unrest, dissolving into gentle support. Within this subterranean realm, earthworms churn nutrient-rich soils, while myriad bacteria and fungi break down decaying organic matter and cycle nutrients in a silent, ceaseless flow. Tiny springtails and beetle larvae scurry through the detritus, each playing a role in converting dead foliage into fertile sustenance. Envision a philosopher's web beneath the grasses, weaving threads of carbon and nitrogen, ensuring that every inch of life above receives the energy it needs. Inhale the subtle hum of activity too small to witness. Exhale any residue of anxiety, trusting that, like the prairie, your body and mind share in this self-regulating balance. Rising from the ground, the tallgrass prairie supports a surprising diversity of life. Coyote pairs move between den sites and hunt for small rodents, prairie voles, and pocket mice that skip across the open terrain. Watch as a red fox emerges at dusk, its russet fur glowing in the last rays of sunlight. It pauses to listen, its ears pricked forward, tail flicking, in a slow, graceful arch. In that moment, you sense both its predatory focus and its delicate balance within this ecosystem. Its breath puffs in rhythmic clouds of warmth, matching the slowing cadence of your own chest. Inhale the fox's quiet alertness. Exhale into complete surrender, allowing your thoughts to ebb like a fading tide. Just as the prairies once served as hunting grounds for Native American peoples, Lakota, Dakota, Omaha, Osage, and countless others, so too do you become part of this continuum. Envision hunters on horseback chasing buffalo herds across undulating grasslands. Their lodges, teepees, dot the horizon like petals of a desert flower, each cone-shaped tent anchored by tall poles and covered in buffalo hides. Can you hear the soft murmur of voices planning their next move, the creak of leather harnesses, and the distant drumbeat announcing a communal gathering? As these imagined sounds fade, let the resonance linger, a faint echo that soothes rather than disturbs. Inhale the spirit of unity and cooperation. Exhale all notions of isolation, feeling yourself woven into a tapestry of interdependence, stretching across time. Now shift your gaze to a meandering river that slices through the prairie, a ribbon of silver reflecting the vast sky. The Missouri River, powerful and steady, carries water from the Rocky Mountains eastward, shaping the plains as it flows. Picture a trade canoe gliding along under the command of village elders, canoes laden with furs, maize, and crafted pottery. Their songs drift across water and wind, a melody that speaks of negotiation, alliances, and the shared bounty of this land. Feel the gentle rocking of the canoe mirrored in your own body as you settle more deeply into bed. Inhale the promise of rippling water. Exhale into gentle calm. As afternoon fades to evening, the sky erupts into a tapestry of oranges, pinks, and purples. The sun sinks slowly, as though reluctant to leave this world of grasses and memory. Lone pronghorn stands silhouetted against the sky, its pale rump glowing like a lantern in the dimming light. It scans the horizon with keen eyes, alert to both predator and sunset's end. Inhale the warmth of waning daylight. Exhale the day's residual thoughts, letting them drift away with the sun's descent. Before the final light fades, hear the distant thunder of hoofbeats. Bison buffalo again, this time stirring as they move to a new feeding ground. Their thunderous chorus reverberates through the air, a rolling drum beat that seems to awaken every fiber of the prairie. Let that drum beat synchronize with your own heart, a primal reminder of life's persistence. As the bison's call recedes, feel your heart slowing, matching their footsteps' diminishing resonance. Inhale a final surge of vitality, exhale into complete ease. As the night sky drapes this prairie in starlit mystery, remember that far below the ocean's surface awaits a kingdom older than these grasslands where whales and leviathans glide through dark currents. But even as these plains settle into starlit hush, the Earth's story continues beneath waves that once sheltered creatures so ancient their bones now lie hidden in sediment. Soon we will descend far beneath the surface of the world's oldest seas, where silent giants navigated primeval oceans. Let the memory of wind-whispered grasses and thunderous bison footsteps guide you into the next leg of this odyssey, one that will immerse you in aquatic realms as deep and boundless as the sky above these endless plains. Imagine descending through a silent abyss where sunlight never penetrates, a realm so ancient that its waters cradle the earliest whispers of life. Far beneath the surface of the world's oldest seas lies a kingdom of shadow and wonder, a submerged tapestry woven from primeval currents and the slow, inexorable rhythm of geological time. As you sink deeper, picture water pressure increasing with each gentle descent, as though an unseen force presses you into comfortable weightlessness. The air around you transforms into dense liquid, cooling your mind and body into peaceful surrender. Inhale, drawing in the memory of crisp, oxygen-rich currents that once fed primordial algae mats. Exhale, releasing any lingering tension, and as you drift into this silent oceanic cathedral where every ripple of ancient currents hums with the pulse of Earth's distant past. Envision the seafloor tens of millions of years ago, a vast, shallow continental shelf strewn with stony reefs and soft mud plains. Here early arthropods scuttled like living fossils. Trilobites, their segmented exoskeletons gleaming in muted blues and grays, migrated in elaborate patterns, grazing on microscopic detritus. Each trilobite's compound eyes captured flickers of bioluminescent glow emitted by creatures floating overhead. Feel the soft drag of gentle currents brushing against your imagined skin, as though thousands of trilobites shuffle across your fingertips, their tiny legs creating a muted symphony beneath you. Let your breathing match their measured crawl. Inhale, exhale, inhaling calm, exhaling every care, surrendering to their ancient pace. Above the muddy expanse, strange mantis-like predators called anomalocaris glide with hypnotic grace. Their segmented bodies undulate as they propel themselves forward, eyes perched like sentinels at the ends of stalks. Watch as their triangular mouths part to capture unsuspecting prey, smaller trilobites or early worm-like creatures anchored in the seabed. Notice the deliberate precision of their motions, each appendage flexing in unison to guide them toward a shimmering swath of phosphorescent light. Imagine those lights dancing in the murky gloom, casting eerie reflections on Anomalocaris's armored sides. With every inhalation, let your awareness deepen into their fluid motion. With each exhalation, feel your muscles unknot under the soft embrace of curiosity. Among these primeval wanderers, enormous stromatolite reefs rise like living cathedrals from the ancient seafloor. Layer upon layer of cyanobacteria trapped sediment and secreted minerals, building structures that would withstand the test of time. Picture these reefs as intricate fortresses, each stone-like layer a testament to tiny organisms capturing sunlight, converting it into the oxygen that would one day fill entire atmospheres. Imagine yourself brushing past those layered walls, feeling the subtle ridges under your fingertips, as though each striation were a note in a cosmic symphony reaching back to the dawn of life. Inhale the soft hum of microbiological processes. Exhale the last vestige of wakefulness, merging with the microbial heartbeat beneath you. Have you ever wondered what trembled through murky waters when the first vertebrates flexed their fins and glanced up at a sky that did not yet exist? Shift your gaze through the twilight waters to early vertebrates, jawless fish that languidly glide along. Consider Millicunmintia, a slender creature with faintly bioluminescent stripes, inching its way through organic detritus. Although small and primitive, these early fishes signaled the dawn of a lineage destined to conquer oceans, fresh waters, and eventually land itself. Feel the gentle flutter of their tiny fins, causing delicate eddies around you. As you breathe in the thought of their evolutionary journey, exhale and surrender to a tranquil awareness, knowing that your own body is the culmination of countless aquatic chapters. Farther still, armored placoderms emerge from silt-choked channels. Dunkleosteus, a fearsome titan of the Devonian, swings its massive head adorned with bony plates. Its jaws snap open with terrifying speed, revealing shearing plates that could slice through flesh and bone alike. Yet even this juggernaut moves with surprising calm when not hunting, its heavy body drifting as though carried by the currents it commands. Imagine the ground-shaking reverberation of its motion, the sea floor trembling beneath its bulk. With each imagined rumble, feel a corresponding heartbeat in your chest. Inhale, exhale. Inhaling awe, exhaling into quiet submission, allowing Dunkleosteus's measured grace to guide you deeper into reflective calm. Meanwhile, giant sea scorpions, eurypterids, patrol shallow lagoons. Their segmented bodies sweep along the seafloor, pincers poised to grasp early mollusks or small fish. Each step of their many-jointed legs leaves ephemeral impressions in the mud that fossilize for eons to come. Picture yourself trailing behind one, feeling the faint ripple of its passage like a soft wave across your skin. Each breath you take synchronizes with the eurypterid's subtle shimmer. Inhale, exhale. Inhaling curiosity, exhaling every remnant of tension as the ancient creature's calm alertness courses through you. In the distance, colonies of ancient coral-like organisms, tabulate and rugose corals, form gardens of living architecture. Their stalagmitic columns and branching forms create labyrinthine groves where fish dart in and out of shadowed alcoves. Picture luminous tentacles swaying in the dim light, capturing microscopic prey with delicate sweeps. Imagine brushing your cheek along those colonies, feeling the slightest prickle of stony coral-like edges. As coral reefs form the underpinnings of modern marine ecosystems, let their slow, persistent growth encourage your own body to relax, layer by layer. Inhale as you sense their enduring presence. Exhale as your limbs grow heavy with ease, deeper. Yet seaweeds and algae drape over submerged outcrops in curtains of emerald and crimson. Red algae, laden with calcium carbonate, coat ancient substrates, offering both nourishment and shelter to drifting larvae of brachiopods, seashell-like organisms anchored by stalks that filter microscopic plankton. Watch as these stalk dwellers open and close their paired shells in rhythmic pulses, creating gentle currents that swirl detritus toward their feeding structures. Envision letting your fingers trace the pulse of that motion. Inhale in sync with their opening, exhale with their closing, each cycle guiding you toward a stillness where thought itself becomes as gentle and methodical as a brachiopod's feeding. What if the secrets of this submerged realm guide us toward ancient riverbeds flowing under stars of a forgotten sky, places where waters converge and civilizations rise? As you drift away from these ancient seas, imagine a slow ascent through layers of sediment. each stratum a page in Earth's geological chronicle. Soon you will emerge into landscapes sculpted by rivers that shapeshift through time, carrying life from distant headwaters to fertile deltas. Prepare now to join the Jordan River as it winds its way through the arid lands of the Levant, where water holds the promise of civilization and the echoes of countless generations weigh upon every stone. Let the serene hum of this primeval ocean echo in your mind as you slip into a restful slumber, carried forward by purpose and wonder. Imagine a river that threads through parched earth, carrying life where none seems possible, and echoing with stories older than memory. From its sources high in the mountains of Lebanon and Syria, the Jordan River embarks on a winding journey southward, traversing rocky wadis, irrigating olive groves, and nourishing oases that sparkle against the sun-baked hues of the Levant. Picture standing on a limestone overlook at dawn. The first light caresses the river's surface like molten silver, and the arid lands stretch outward in a patchwork of ochre plains and terraced fields. As you inhale, draw in the scent of warm sandstone mingled with the faint aroma of thyme and sage that cling to sunlit hillsides. Exhale slowly, releasing every ounce of tension as the river's murmur beckons your spirit to follow its course. With your eyes fixed on that serpentine ribbon of water, let your mind drift into the cradle of history itself, a place where faith, survival, and the rhythms of nature converge along the Jordan's gentle current. Near its headwaters, crystal clear, springs bubble forth among oak pine woodlands, feeding small rivulets that coalesce into a fuller stream. Listen to the soft gurgle of water emerging from limestone fissures, as though the earth itself exhales relief. Across the pebble-strewn banks, wildflowers, pink rock rose, lavender lupine, and red poppy unfurl in early morning light. Their petals tremble in a breeze scented with wild oregano and chamomile. As you bend to touch a tuft of rosemary bursting from a crevice, feel its prickly needles brush your fingertips. Inhale its resinous fragrance, cool, pungent, laced with the promise of healing. Exhale, and allow your mind to drift alongside fallen petals, settling into the gentle current that carries life southward through lands that would otherwise wither under scorching sun. Have you ever wondered how a river can carry the weight of faith, hope, and human longing across borders that shift like desert sands? Further downstream, the Jordan widens into a broad channel, rippling under the weight of ancient pilgrimage routes. Here, pilgrims from varied faiths approach its banks, seeking renewal in baptismal waters that have borne the footprints of sages and wanderers for millennia. Visualize crowds gathering at a simple stone staircase descending into the river, women shading their heads with finely woven scarves, and men wading waist-deep, reciting blessings in whispered tones. Feel the coolness of water against skin that has already endured the day's first heat. Inhale the collective breath of devotion. Exhale any lingering hesitation, surrendering to a moment that transcends time. Beneath the gentle lap of ripples, sense the hum of prayers absorbed by the river's flow, carried onward to the Dead Sea's briny depths. On its western bank, date palms cluster into groves fed by hidden springs. Their fronds tremble in the breeze like green flames against golden sands. Beneath this canopy, small herds of ibex amble among tamarisk bushes, pausing to nibble on tender shoots. Watch as one vigilant ibex lifts its curved horns, poised like ancient bronze sculptures, sensing danger even as it sips from a sheltered pool. The sun glints off its tawny coat, and you might imagine a solitary Bedouin shepherd perched on a rocky outcrop, face weathered by sun and sand, his eyes scanning for any sign of predators that lurk beyond the green ribbon. Inhale the mingled scents of tamarisk and ripened figs. Exhale, melting into the silent vigil of both shepherd and ibex, allowing that shared alertness to ease into a restful calm. Beyond the groves, terraces of terracotta-hued fields rise against stony hillsides, ancient retentions of water and wisdom. Restored by generations of farmers who read the land like scripture, these fields yield olive trees whose knotted trunks bear fruit pressed into golden oil. Picture a row of olives glinting in the afternoon sun, each plump drupe heavy with harvest. A gentle breeze stirs the leaves, producing a soft rustle that harmonizes with the tack of a donkey's hooves on compacted earth. Inhale the rich, buttery aroma of fresh olive oil. Exhale into deep relaxation as though tasting that liquid gold warming your throat. Feel your own roots unravel beneath the surface, extending along player lines of drip irrigation into the lifeblood of this fertile valley. As the river continues its southward trek, it passes through lush floodplains where papyrus reeds stand tall, their tufted heads forming a swaying sea of verdant green. These reeds whisper in unison, casting rippled reflections upon shallow pools where ducks and wading birds feed. Among them, the austere beauty of egrets and herons patrolling banks reminds you of creation's delicate balance. Each footstep measured, each wingbeat resonating, a silent invitation to stillness. Feel the soft spray of droplets as a kingfisher plunges into the water, re-emerging with a small fish clasped in its beak. Inhale the fresh tang of waterlogged reeds and aquatic ferns. Exhale, releasing any residue of haste, allowing your heart to synchronize with the lull of rippling reeds. What if the river's journey ends, not at the sea, but begins anew in distant seas of glacial ice, where ancient mountains cradle hidden waters? As the Jordan River's waters trickle into the mineral-laden expanse of the Dead Sea, remember that origin points often lie far beyond sight. Soon we will ascend to high plateaus and rugged foothills where glacial remnants feed rivers that carve into desert landscapes. Our next steps will carry us south of Lima, beyond the parched foothills of the Andes, where towering peaks shadow fertile valleys and whisper of civilization sculpted by wind and stone. Let the murmurs of the Jordan's waters settle in your mind as you drift toward slumber, carried by its timeless current and guided by the promise of snow-capped summits yet to come. Picture a land where ancient snow-capped giants loom over dusty valleys, where each breath whispers the secrets of people and peaks that touch the sky. Far south of Lima, beyond the parched foothills of the Andes, lies a realm carved by time and survival. Here, rugged mountain slopes rise sharply from golden plains, their summits perpetually dusted with snow that feeds rivers, nourishing valleys below. As dawn breaks, the first pale light illuminates terraces hewn into hillsides, agricultural marvels built by civilizations whose names echo through history: Wari, Chavin, and later the Incas. Inhale deeply, tasting the crisp mountain air tinged with the scent of dry sage and sun-baked stone. Exhale, letting your body settle into the sturdy stillness of this highland world, where every ridge and ravine carries echoes of ancestors long gone. Below you, the foothills roll into arid plateaus, where tufts of ichu grass cling tenaciously to rocky soil. Llamas and alpacas graze on these sparse grasses, their soft wool coats bearing flecks of dust that shine like flecks of gold under the sun. Notice the gentle hum of their chewing, a rhythmic lullaby that seems to reverberate in the thin air. As you stand among them, feel the firm crunch of compact earth beneath your boots and the soft pressure of a cool breeze descending from peaks that pierce the sky. Each inhalation draws in the whispered lull of llama's breath. Each exhalation releases any tension, allowing your heart rate to merge with the slow pulse of highland pastoral life. A narrow trail winds upward through terraces flanked by ancient, retaining walls, stones shaped by hands that revered mountains as deities. As you ascend, imagine Inca farmers centuries ago carrying baskets of quinoa and maize along these very steps, their woven garments embroidered with vibrant patterns representing mountains, rivers, and stars. With each imagined footfall, inhale the warmth of sunlight filtered through sparse clouds, and exhale, surrendering further into the quiet majesty of these slopes. Overhead, Andean condors circle, their dark wings catching thermal currents, wingspans stretching like living shadows across the pale blue sky. Inhale their boundless freedom. Exhale any residual weight of worry, letting your spirit soar high with them. Have you ever wondered how a civilization thrived where oxygen is thin and earth is brittle, finding life in stony fields and carving them eternity from fleeting moments? Pause at a high-altitude lake, shimmering like polished glass. Water so clear that the flicker of trout darting beneath the surface resembles living jewels. This is a sacred place, known as Mamacocha by the Inca Mother Lake, where offerings of coca leaves and ceramics once drifted across the water's surface. Imagine shamans cloaked in colorful mantles, embroidered with symbols of pumas and condors, kneeling at the lake's edge as incense curls skyward, mingling with morning mists. Feel the sacred hush that lingers in the crisp air, a hush so profound that even wind seems hesitant to disturb it. Inhale the cool mist rising from the lake's shore. Exhale into the enveloping hush, allowing your mind to slip into a state of reverent calm. Below the lake, waterfalls tumble down sheer cliffs, carving deep gorges through volcanic rock. Each cascade plunges with thunderous grace, sending up plumes of spray that catch the sun, creating arcs of ephemeral rainbows. Imagine standing before one such fall. Its icy water drenches your face, and the roar seems to pulse in your chest like a primordial heartbeat. Inhale the freshness of high Andean water. Exhale, feeling your body soften as though that mist carries away every last trace of stress. Descending further, you reach terraced fields that hug steep mountain faces. Each terrace holds fertile soil irrigated by canals, channeling meltwater from distant glaciers. Imagine Inca engineers surveying these slopes, chiseling channels with stone tools and aligning them precisely so water flows gently, never eroding precious earth. Rows of potatoes, beans, and amaranth stretch across terraces of ochre and umber. Inhale the scent of fertile soil warmed by the sun. Exhale, surrendering into the reassuring hum of cultivation that has echoed here for centuries. With each breath, sense the connection between farmer and mountain, an unspoken pact that even as seasons shift, life endures in these stony fields. Beyond, the field's shepherds watch over flocks of alpacas, their long necks swaying as they graze on cushiony moss and lichens clinging to sun-bleached rocks. The shepherds' voices rise in melodic chants, ancient songs passed from father to son, invoking protection from Apus, the spirits of the mountains. As one shepherd plays a panpipe, its haunting tones drift across the valley, weaving through rows of terraces and up to soaring peaks. Inhale the music's resonance, feeling each note settle into your bones. Exhale, noticing your mind quiet. In response to that ancestral melody, higher still, rocky lungutas, wind-blown outcrops, stand sentinel on ridgetops where the air grows colder and thinner. Here, tunas, prickly pear cacti, cling to life, their succulent pads bursting with prickles, but offering bright red fruit to travelers. Picture a rugged wanderer plucking a ripe tuna, shards of pale juice staining fingertips as tint of deep magenta. Taste the sweet tang of the fruit, sun-kissed and earthy. Inhale that tang. Exhale, feeling your senses sharpen even as your limbs grow heavier with calm. As the sun begins its descent, the sky shifts to pale saffron and rose, casting a warm glow across snow-capped summits like Illimani and Huayna Potosi, far off in the distance. Shadows stretch long, and llamas return to low-lying corrals, their silhouettes etched against glowing skies. Inhale the slow fade of daylight. Exhale, allowing night's cool embrace to creep into your awareness, signaling a transition into rest. At twilight, flickering fires dot remote communities perched on terraces, each hearth a beacon of communal warmth as families gather to share quinoa soup and roasted kai, guinea pig. The scent of sizzling meat mingles with burning eucalyptus leaves, intended to ward off mountain spirits. Picture children gathered around elders, listening to stories of Pachamama, the Earth Mother, whose blessings ensure fertile harvests. Inhale the smoke's mingled aroma. Exhale, letting shared laughter and storytelling infuse you with ancestral comfort. What if the dance of smoke and stories under Andean stars echoes across oceans, meeting whispers of rolling tides in distant lands? But even as these highland terraces sleep beneath a blanket of stars, remember that life's story stretches beyond mountains into seas where ancient currents carry the pulse of continents. Soon, we will journey in the remote hills of Henan Province, delving into crystalline temple springs and myths nestled in lush Chinese valleys, places where Earth's breath rises in mist and sacred echoes ripple through bamboo forests. For now, let the memory of snow-capped giants and terraced fields cradle you into a peaceful slumber, anchored by the enduring spirit of the Andes. Imagine uncovering treasures of bones so ancient that they once fed legends of dragons, whispers of Earth's hidden past stirring in the mist. As dawn's pale light filters through a curtain of bamboo and sheds upon rugged tea terraces, you find yourself in the remote hills of Henan Province, an enclave of crested peaks, emerald valleys, and hidden streams. Here, towering mountains rise like guardians shrouded in mist, their slopes etched with narrow footpaths winding past gnarled tea bushes, ancient cypress trees, and stands of verdant moss. Underfoot, leaf litter and soft needles from towering conifers create a cushioned carpet, muting each step into a reverent hush that seems to honor the secrets buried in these steep valleys. Inhale the cool, humid air, rich with the scent of wet moss clinging to stone, the faint sweetness of camellia blossoms gently unfurling in the dawn, and a whisper of smoke drifting from distant hearth fires, nestled among isolated homesteads. Exhale gently, allowing your body to soften into the soothing embrace of this emerald realm, as though the earth itself welcomes you into its most hidden fold. Elevate your gaze to a narrow ridge where villagers, at the first hint of sun, gather in small groups around steaming clay pots trimmed in red lacquer. They come to collect crystal-clear spring water flowing from fissures in the rock, water believed to spring from a dragon's vein, a gift from mountains older than human memory. Feel the gentle spray of mist as it drifts downward, touching your cheeks with cool reassurance and a whisper of something timeless. Each droplet dissolves the last remnants of tension. Your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches, and the rhythm of your breath slows to match the silent pulse of this sacred water source. As you kneel to cup a handful of liquid so pure it seems, almost otherworldly, sense a faint vibration underfoot, an echo of ancient tremors that once rippled through strata, now worn smooth by centuries of rain and wind. With each inhalation, you draw in the life force of these mountains. With every exhalation, you release lingering worries, allowing yourself to merge with the hidden currents that flow through stone and soul. Moving beyond the spring sanctum, a tapestry of jade-green tea terraces cascades down terraced slopes, like a living staircase woven from leaves. Here, generations of farmers bend low each spring, nimble fingers plucking tender shoots and placing them into woven baskets lined with silk cloth to preserve their delicate aroma. Their calloused digits brush dew-laden buds, coaxing out the subtle flavors that define Longjing and Biluochun teas, varieties revered across millennia. As you roam among these terraces, inhale the sweet floral aroma of freshly plucked tea leaves drying in wooden chambers over low heat, an intoxicating scent carried by gentle breezes through stone-paved irrigation channels. Exhale into a state of quiet reverie carried forward by the promise of timeless tradition and the knowledge that each leaf represents the labor of ancestors whose hands shaped both hillside and harvest. Notice how the terraces cling to contours shaped by ancient landslides, each curve a reminder of water's power to carve life into even the steepest slopes, and each retaining wall a testament to human ingenuity working in harmony with the land. Wander off the terrace trail and find a narrow path veiled by overgrown ferns and clusters of bamboo, the stalks whispering secrets as they sway in the breeze. The air grows cooler, and shafts of light waver through a canopy of dark pine needles and broad-leafed laurels. Here, too, lies the storied Dragon Bone Quarry, a place where villagers once unearthed fossil fragments and sold them as medicinal treasures. Local healers believed these fossils, often massive dinosaur teeth or pieces of rib, possessed potent powers to cure ailments, calm tormented spirits, and protect against malevolent forces. Picture an elder sifting through dirt-stained stones, fingertips brushing away layers of clay to reveal curved, ivory-toned edges polished by eons. Each shard resembles the scale of a mythological dragon, a creature woven into the tapestry of Chinese lore with a power that transcends natural history. Inhale the faint scent of damp earth, old wood smoke, and aged paper scrolls that line the makeshift shrine near the quarry entrance. Exhale, feeling the smooth contours of each fossil. Fragments shape your own sense of wonder and grounding. Pause to touch a fragment believed to be a dragon's tusk, a fossilized piece of a giant's rib from the late Cretaceous, over 70 million years old. Its surface is cool, textured with weathered pockmarks and the subtle grain of ancient bone. As you rotate it in your hand, sense a hum of connection to worlds before human memory, a resonance echoing through every fiber of your being. With each inhale, draw in the gravity of this ancient relic. With each exhale, release any lingering connection to the mundane, allowing your consciousness to drift above the curve of the earth, carried aloft by silent wing beats of dragons from a time when the land itself pulsed with amber-hued life. Near this quarry, a narrow tunnel carved into limestone leads into a cavern where jade slate walls shimmer in the glow of flickering lanterns. Whispers claim that within these caverns lies the resting place of a true dragon fossil, a colossal jawbone once believed to ward off famine, soothe tempers, and bestow visionary dreams. Enter the cavern, feeling the temperature drop as daylight retreats behind a veil of shadowed stone. The floor is uneven, slick with patches of algae and fallen stalactite fragments. Each step a reminder to tread lightly out of respect for what lies concealed. Listen to distant drips of water echoing in the darkness, each drop a crystallized sigh that ripples against ancient stone. As you move deeper into the cave, feel the cooling air seep into your lungs, slowing your heart rate to a gentle thrum. Inhale the mineral-rich scent of quartz and limestone. Exhale, letting your body melt into the stillness that surrounds you. Within the cavern's deepest chamber, a narrow beam of sunlight filters through a crack far above, illuminating swirling dust motes like a river of stars suspended in darkness. There, leaning against a wall of polished stone, rests the dragon's jaw, a massive fossil rib so large that its curvature resembles a celestial crescent against stony blackness. Villagers say that placing a hand on this rib brings dreams of fire-breathing guardians soaring above mist-shrouded peaks. Imagine your hand resting on the fossil's cool surface, smoothing away layers of moss and crystalline deposits. Feel a ripple run through your arm as though an ancient heartbeat begins to stir beneath your palm. With each breath, let that ripple spread through your chest, softening any remaining tension. Inhale acceptance of awe, exhale into complete surrender. Linger here a moment to notice how the cavern's acoustics amplify the subtlest sounds. A distant drip becomes a resonant gong. A soft scrape of stone underfoot echoes like a whispered chant. Let these echoes merge with the memory of ancient footsteps, of hunters tracking prey through primordial forests, of shamans seeking visions in flickering torchlight, and of pilgrims honoring dragons in whispered prayers. Inhale the reverence of each echo. Exhale, allowing your mind to expand and rise beyond boundaries of time and thought. As you gently withdraw from the cavern, sense warm afternoon light beckoning you back to the emerald terraces above. The hum of cicadas rises in the linden groves, punctuated by the distant trill of a flute played by a lone shepherd tending to goats grazing on wild thyme. The scent of dried tea leaves drifts on a gentle breeze, mingling with the faint sweetness of osmanthus flowers nestled in hidden alcoves. Step back onto a bamboo walkway that creaks softly underfoot, each plank a reminder of fleeting passage that carries you toward a quiet pavilion overlooking terraced fields. As you rest on woven bamboo mats, watch wisps of cloud drift lazily across distant peaks 3,000 meters high, their snowcaps glimmering like stars against a sky of robin's egg blue. Nearby, a small shrine honoring the mountain deities stands sentinel. Red silk ribbons flutter from prayer flags strung among cedar branches, and incense coils curl upward from stone burners, releasing tendrils of fragrant smoke into the crisp air. Listen as an elder monk chants quietly from a palm leaf sutra, each syllable vibrating with calm authority. Inhale the heady mix of sandalwood and fresh pine resin. Exhale, letting every syllable guide you deeper into reflective peace. Feel your shoulders sink, your spine lengthen, and your mind drift into a state of serene awareness. Before you, the terraces stretch out like rippling waves of green, each level a memory of hands that carved them from solid rock, each ledge a cradle for plants that symbolize rebirth with every spring. Inhale the collective breath of farmers who have plucked shoots at dawn and watched stars rise at dusk across countless seasons. Exhale into unity with these hands, this land, this moment, a timeless continuum of growth, harvest, and gratitude. What if the mists of distant mountains give way to a world where emerald canopies rise like cathedrals and the drumbeat of life pulses through every leaf? Having traced the Andean terraces and silvered lakes under snow-capped summits, let the memory of highland winds, yielding to valley mists, carry you across oceans and savannas. Soon, the steep ridges and terraced fields of South America will blur into the distant roar of tropical rains, guiding us to a realm where trunks tower like columns and vines lace the sky. Prepare now to step beneath that living roof as we journey deep in the heart of Central Africa, where the forest itself breathes and the echoes of ancient giants stir in the undergrowth. Imagine stepping into an emerald ocean where the air itself hums with ancient rhythms, and every breath you take resonates with echoes of unseen giants. Venturing deep in the heart of Central Africa, you plunge beneath an immense canopy so dense that daylight transforms into filtered jade. Gigantic trunks of mahogany and iroko rise like pillars in a colossal cathedral, their bases buttressed by intertwined roots that wind across the forest floor in intricate living tapestries. With each footstep, the soft, spongy humus yields beneath your boots, a layered mosaic of fallen leaves, decayed wood, and 1,000 hidden life forms. Inhale the humid air, thick with the scent of wet earth, ripe fruit, and the musky perfume of orchids clinging to moss-draped branches. Exhale, letting all tension drain away into this living tapestry as your mind and body merge with the timeless pulse of the forest. Above you, the canopy's vault arches into a woven ceiling of emerald. Shafts of diffused sunlight penetrate the layers like scattered jewels, illuminating drifting particles of pollen and mist that swirl lazily in the humid air. Threads of lianas hang from branches like living ropes, their thick coils slipping between trunks as they climb toward hidden light. Epiphytic ferns and bromeliads cling to every available surface, their fronds and leaves hosting tiny ecosystems, moist nurseries for darting frogs, camouflaged insects, and darting geckos. Each emerald tuft captures droplets of condensation that glint like diamonds before releasing them as tiny rainstorms onto the forest floor below. A soft rustle in the undergrowth heralds the approach of a troop of western lowland gorillas. Their broad backs, mottled in shades of black and gray, glide between tree trunks with surprising furtiveness for creatures of such massive proportions. The silverback, muscles rippling beneath thick fur, pauses to forage. His massive fingers wrap around a cluster of wild bananas, peeling each carefully before consuming the pulp with a gentle hum. Nearby, females and juveniles follow, plucking leaves and tender shoots from understory shrubs. Listen to their deep, resonant exhalations, each breath a low rumble that merges with the distant calls of forest birds and the drip of water from mushroom-studded logs. Breathe in the hushed power of their presence. Breathe out any remaining tension as your own heartbeat slows to match their calm rhythm. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, each cycle guiding you deeper into a state of restful stillness. In a sudden burst of movement, a flock of African gray parrots wings from branch to branch overhead, their flashes of silvery feathers resembling living arrows streaking through the green. Their raucous calls, repeating in polyphonic echoes, remind you that this forest is a living concert hall, each creature's voice a note contributing to a symphony of existence. Pause to watch as light catches their glinting eyes, glimmering with intelligence. As they wheel away, let the memory of their flight and song drift through your mind like a feather on a breeze. Inhale their vibrant energy. Exhale into a deeper state of acceptance and calm. Have you ever considered how the heartbeat of the forest is lived by creatures so elusive that shadows themselves seem to conceal their every step? Step softly into a shaded glade where pygmy elephants emerge from a tangle of vines and tree ferns. These diminutive elephants, no larger than human teenagers, move with surprising confidence among root-tangled hollows and shallow pools. Their leathery trunks sweep low, scooping up muddy water to spray across their backs, soothing insect bites and cooling overheated skin. Notice the way their padded feet leave soft impressions in the soil, each step releasing tiny puffs of dust and moisture. Feel their cautious curiosity as they regard you with dark, knowing eyes before continuing deeper into a grove of ancient cycad palms. Inhale the subtle briny tang of water mixing with earth. Exhale, letting your body soften as though those tiny footprints guide you into peaceful stillness. Beneath towering trees, shadowed ferns and gingers carpet the forest floor. In one pool of sunlight, a colorful Goliath frog stretches out its webbed limbs atop a sun-warmed rock, its mottled green and brown skin glistening with moisture. Its slow, deliberate croak resonates through the undergrowth, a low bass note that seems to pulse in harmony with the distant drumbeat of a waterfall's cascade. Listening to this guardian of the water's edge, feel your own breath steady. Inhale as the frog's chest rises. Exhale as it deflates. Each cycle, a tender invitation to sink deeper into relaxation. Near the waterfall's plunge, a forest elephant wades belly deep, its massive gray hide smeared with mud. It lifts one sturdy leg to probe beneath churning water for roots and tubers, each movement a testament to ancient knowledge encoded in muscle and bone. Droplets spatter like meteorites around its colossal form, glinting in mist-heavy air before dissipating into warm humidity. Stand quietly and absorb the scene. Let the earth-shaking weight of its steps anchor you. Let the misty tremors calm you. Inhale the scent of wet granite and lichen. Exhale, releasing every last flicker of mental noise as if carried away on the waterfall's roar. Beneath a cathedral of branching leaves, a family of chimpanzees descends from lofty heights. They chatter in conversational tones, communicating with subtle gestures, hands pressing branches, eyes narrowing, lips curling into silent admonitions. Watch as a young chimp plucks a termite stick and inserts it into a narrow crevice in a moldering log. With nimble precision, it extracts a wiggling snack, popping it into its mouth with a triumphant exhalation. Inhale the scent of gnawed wood and earthy termite mounds. Exhale, marveling at the ingenuity of hands that mimic tools, hands that echo the silent brilliance within your own. At dusk, the forest hush deepens as daylight wanes. Fireflies emerge in drifts of green luminescence, drifting among vines, and blossoms like floating stars come to rest on petals. Their tiny pulses of light shimmer against the darkening green, creating an otherworldly spectacle. Observe as they settle upon banana leaves and forest floors, their gentle flickers guiding you into a state of meditative wonder. Inhale the sweet fragrance of night-blooming jasmine. Exhale, surrendering to the soft glow, letting each flicker of light guide you into serene calm. What if the depth of these forests simply prepares us to step into lands where the first light of dawn reveals rolling hills cloaked in morning mist? But even as the heart of this African rainforest beats its million-voiced chorus, know that beyond jungles lie islands where mist is thicker, forests older, and heights closer to heaven. Soon, our journey will carry us to the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, where towering dipterocarps and hidden temples whisper of civilizations carved in stone. For now, let the hum of unseen drums, the low rumbles of gorillas, and the murmur of cascading water guide you into restful slumber, as the forest's eternal breath cradles you into deep, restorative dreams. Picture a green cathedral so vast that sunlight filters through its roof in broken shards, and every breath you take resonates with unseen calls of creatures from a primeval world. Venturing into the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, you step beneath a living canopy where trunks soar like pillars toward a sky hidden by interlocking leaves. The air is a warm, humid embrace, thick with the perfume of damp earth, the heady sweetness of tropical orchids, and the faint, spicy tang of ginger lilies. As you tread softly upon a floor carpeted by decomposing foliage, feel the hush of leaf litter muffling every footfall, creating a reverent silence that seems to honor each life woven into this emerald tapestry. Inhale deeply, drawing in the moist, oxygen-rich air that ascends from the forest's depths. Exhale, allowing every knot of tension to unravel as your senses awaken to the rainforest's symphony, calls of gibbons echoing overhead, distant thunder rolling across the mountains, and the gentle hum of insects stirring in the undergrowth. Towering dipterocarp trees dominate the skyline, their buttress roots forming labyrinthine networks at ground level, living bridges that channel rain and nutrients into hidden channels beneath. Saplings of rattan and climbing lianas twist skyward, seeking light as they spiral around colossal trunks. From high above, shafts of sunbeam pierce the dense foliage, illuminating drifting motes of pollen dancing in the humid haze like floating embers. Each beam casts a spotlight upon moss-covered stones and epiphytic ferns sprouting from knotted bark. As you step into one such sunlit patch, feel the warmth brush across your skin like a gentle caress, reminding you that within this overwhelming green stillness, pockets of light and life thrive in luminous grace. In the canopy's upper, tears, arboreal giants, the Bornean orangutans, move with surprising grace among vine-studded branches. Their deep reddish coats catch glints of sunlight as they sweep their long, powerful arms to swing from limb to limb. Listen to a juvenile's plaintive call echo through the trees, a haunting reminder of the bonds woven within family groups. Imagine the soft press of their fur against the trunks as they forage for ripening fruit. Durian, rambutan, langsat, each succulent bite released with a silent exhalation that merges with the wind. Inhale the faint musk of their presence. Exhale, letting your mind drift with their languid movements, finding solace in the gentle cadence of their existence. Amid towering buttresses, water-worn pools reflect the emerald cathedral above. Here, slender silver leaf monkeys emerge from shadowy tangles of vines to sip from these limpid oases. Their coats shimmer like quicksilver as they leap between branches, tails curling like living ribbons. Picture one pausing on a moss-covered branch, head tilted to catch droplets trickling from dripping leaves. With every droplet's descent, hear a soft plink. Inhale as each droplet forms, exhale as it falls, guiding your breath into perfect harmony with the rainforest's pulse. Feel your limbs grow heavy, your thoughts slow, as though the world outside has been distilled into this single, rhythmic impetus. Below, in the dim understory, ancient ferns and club mosses crowd into shadowed corners, their delicate fronds unfurling in a perpetual dance of renewal. Among them, hemipteran insects, stick insects, and leaf insects, camouflage so perfectly that they appear as living fragments of the vegetation itself. Imagine crouching to study one, feeling the faint vibration of its heartbeat against the leaf it grips. Inhale the damp, loamy scent of hidden soil. Exhale, letting your body soften as though sinking into a plush carpet of green, every blade of grass cushioning your rest. Have you ever considered that every footstep you take in this emerald maze echoes with the ancient rhythms of evolution, a living testament to survival and adaptation? Advance deeper into a shaded grove where strangler figs have wrapped host trees in coiling tendrils, eventually erasing their original forms. The host's hollowed trunk remains, now embraced by a lattice of fig roots that form an organic vault above your head. Light filters through gaps like heavenly beacons, illuminating floating spores that drift on invisible currents. In this hallowed space, a family of pygmy elephants emerges from thick ferns, mysterious survivors whose tiny frames traverse ancient migratory routes. With slow, deliberate steps, they pluck tender shoots and fallen fruit from leaf-littered ground. Notice the gentle flap of their small ears, cooling them as they move gracefully between shadow and light. Inhale the warm, earthy scent of wet vegetation. Exhale, letting the enormity of their lineage settle within you, grounding every fiber of your being into serene awareness. Nearby, an elongated painted frog, disc-like body poised on slender legs, unfurls bright, warning hues to deter predators. Its soft, mournful croak hangs in the humid air like a lament, a sound box resonating with the emotional tonality of nocturnal life yet to stir. Hear that low croak ripple through the undergrowth. Imagine your own breath mirroring its resonance. Inhale. As it croaks, exhale in tranquil response, a dialogue between species that transcends language, bridging your consciousness and the forest's hidden heartbeat. Higher still, a male gibbon's haunting yodel signals territory across ridges. The call begins as a low, vibrating hum that swells into a melodic crescendo, filling the canopy with an ethereal presence. As you listen, feel goosebumps prickle along your arms. The forest itself seems to pause, reverently holding its breath. Inhale deeply, letting that haunting melody settle into the hollows of your chest. Exhale, releasing every fragment of waking thought, allowing the gibbon's call to guide you into a state of reverent calm. Beneath folding layers of moss and epiphytic gardens, rare rafflesia blooms swell among decomposing tree trunks, a rotting, flower that emits a pungent odor to attract carrion flies. Its immense sakura petal-like lobes unfurl in slow grandeur, an ecological marvel born from a parasitic bond with host vines. Imagine bending low to witness one in bloom, its blood red, petals glowing against the dark humus. Inhale the faint, acrid whiff of decay. Exhale, embracing the paradox of beauty emerging from death, finding solace in life's perpetual cycle. As sunlight wanes, tropical rains gather in dusky skies. In a soft patter, raindrops drum upon the canopy, generating a resonant chorus that reverberates through every tree, leaf, and root. The thunderous percussion melds with distant roars of silverback gorillas as they settle for evening beneath colossal oaks, their massive forms silhouetted against flickering streaks of lightning. Watch as one silverback pounds its chest, a primal call that rumbles like distant thunder, echoing within you. Inhale the electrified air. Exhale slowly, letting your muscles unwind beneath a blanket of calm carried by the drumming rain. What if the symphony of these jungles dissolves into a hush, guiding us to worlds where morning fog clings to rolling hills, where silence reigns above emerald forests? But even as this rainforest's heart beats with relentless life, remember that just beyond these equatorial rains lies an island realm where mist-shrouded forests cradle ancient pines and silver ferns. Soon, we will ascend to realms where the morning fog clings to the rolling hills and dense forests of New Zealand's South Island, a place of moss-draped valleys and whispered serenity. Let the echo of distant calls and rustling leaves lull you closer to rest, carried by the rainforest's eternal pulse into the realms of dreams. Imagine waking to a world where mist drapes over every contour of the earth like a silken shroud, where the scent of damp moss and pine mingles with the promise of undiscovered paths. As the morning fog clings to the rolling hills and dense forests of New Zealand's South Island, you stand at the threshold of a realm both ancient and untamed. The air is cool, crisp enough to draw sharp, rejuvenating breaths, yet carries a gentle weight, heavy with moisture and the faint tang of salt blown in from distant seas. Before you, hills rise and fall in soft emerald waves, each slope blanketed by a patchwork of native grasses, tussock tufts, and the dark, glossy foliage of tree ferns. The horizon is blurred by mist so thick that peaks vanish into pearlescent haze, inviting both curiosity and reverence. As you step forward onto a narrow track carpeted with damp leaf litter, your boots press gently into the soft ground, releasing an earthy fragrance that mingles with the metallic scent of rain-soaked ferns. Inhale deeply, feel the fog's cold. Caress, flood your lungs. Exhale, and let the mist carry away every trace of worry or haste, grounding you in this moment of serene exploration. A pale ribbon of gravel path winds through a cathedral of towering beech and podocarp giants. Sunlight, though not yet full, filters through breaks in the canopy, painting shifting patterns of silver light upon moss-covered trunks. Each massive tree seems to bear its own story. Gnarled roots, thick with age, coil around fallen branches, and ancient stones as though guarding secrets from centuries past. Footsteps echo softly, and in the hush, you hear the faint drip of condensation, droplets falling from broad leaves onto ferns below. These tiny sounds compose a hushed symphony, the forest itself breathing in slow, deliberate rhythms. Alongside the path, delicate mosses, emerald carpets of miniature forests, blanket rocks and exposed roots, inviting you to pause and study their intricate forms. Each tendril of moss captures a droplet of dew that glistens like a tiny gem before tumbling downward in a moment of liquid grace. As you crouch to touch a tuft, feel the cool dampness seep into your fingertips, grounding you further in the tranquil pulse of this ancient woodland. Deeper into the forest, the air grows denser and the canopy's vault darkens into a ceiling of living green. Towering kahikatea and totara trees rise like silent sentinels, their colossal trunks sheathed in thick bark and draped with curtain-like lichens. Look skyward, and you see a mosaic of overlapping leaves, occasional shafts of sunlight piercing through to create ephemeral stages of golden illumination upon ferns below. Beneath these arboreal heights, the understory teems with a tapestry of life. Delicate mountain nei ferns unfurling their fronds, vibrant crimson kawakawa flowers dotting shadowed clearings, and tangles of supple Nico palms, their glossy fronds arching in graceful curves. As you tread lightly, each plant seems to exhale a faint, sweet scent, a heady bouquet of green, wood, and subtle floral notes that merge into a symphony of fragrance. Inhale this complex aroma deeply and feel your muscles sigh in unison as your body relaxes into the forest's gentle embrace. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie hidden where mist falls like silk and the ground is soft with centuries of leaf decay, where every stone and root whispers of ancient life? Pause. At a widening of the trail, where an outcrop of gray schist juts like a sentinel from the forest floor. Here, hooded rain cloaks the rock in a fine veil, and tiny waterfalls cascade from its ledges, creating rivulets that trace delicate silver lines through mossy banks. Kneel to examine the stone. Its surface is slick with algae, tiny rivulets carving miniature canyons that glisten in the dim light. Out of the corner of your eye, you may catch a glimpse of a forest weta, an armored, cricket-like insect, its spined body clinging to a droplet-laden fern stalk. These ancient invertebrates have thrived in New Zealand's forests for millions of years, their prehistoric frames unchanged by passing epochs. As the weta scuttles away, feel the thrum of evolutionary endurance echo in your chest. Inhale the cold mineral scent rising from the wet rock. Exhale, letting the sense of time's vast expanse settle into your bones. Beyond the schist outcrop, the trail descends to a narrow stream, water tumbling over smooth stones in a clear, bubbling current. The sound of the stream's passage is a lullaby, a gentle murmur punctuated by soft splashes where water breaks upon a pebble. Step onto a flat stone at the bank's edge and feel cool mist brush your face as droplets ascend from breaking currents. Shallow pools form at the base of miniature cascades, each a mirror reflecting a fragment of the canopy above. Observe darting kura, freshwater crayfish, weaving among submerged branches, their spiny bodies gliding with surprising speed beneath the glassy surface. Inhale the crisp scent of mountain water, a clean, energizing aroma that speaks of snowmelt and untamed peaks beyond. Exhale fully, letting the stream's melody carry any remaining tension downriver, into places unseen, where water nourishes life beyond the forest's green embrace. Rejoining the trail, you ascend a gentle ridge carpeted with native grasses, tussock and pauaua, that flex and sway in unison with every passing zephyr. Here, the forest thins and rolling hills reveal themselves, cloaked in layers of emerald that spill toward distant valleys. Masses of silver beech shimmer as leaves cling to a morning sheen, and beyond, you glimpse slopes where pine plantations give way to firmer stands of totara. Feel the breeze intensify, a cool rush that carries distant calls of tua and bellbird, songbirds, whose melodic notes ring clear through thinning mist. Let their lilting calls drift through your consciousness, each flute-like melody coaxing you into deeper calm. Inhale the fresh, resinous scent of totara wood. Exhale, allowing your heart to match the steady upsweep and downsweep of hills that rise like gentle waves under a drifting sky. As the sun fractures through the fog, the landscape reveals hidden treasures. A secluded waterfall spilling from glacial rock, its water crystal clear and pure, pooling into a jade-green basin sheltered by towering cliffs draped in ferns. Listen as the waterfall's roar lowers to a gentle hush, a continuous rhyme that resonates deep within. Feel its spray mist your skin like anointing dew, each droplet dissolving any remaining tension. Inhale that cooling veil of water. Exhale, letting your body sink into a state of restorative rest, as though held in the arms of ancient mountains. At the ridge's crest stands a solitary totara, its broad canopy like a green cloud against the dissolving fog. Beneath its boughs, a worn bench carved from native timber invites you to pause. Sit and feel the bench's smooth surface cradle you, as though rooted in the same earth that holds the tree's mighty roots. Close your eyes and allow the forest breath to fill your awareness. The gentle sway of leaves, the distant roar of cascading streams, the soft rustle of small creatures in the undergrowth. Inhale the sweet honeyed scent of manuka blossoms carried on a light breeze. Exhale completely. Release every fragment of thought until only the forest's quiet symphony remains. What if the veil of mist that lifts here to reveal fairy tale ferns and waterfalls gives way to landscapes scoured by ice, where gentle slopes transform into glaciers and hidden coves? As the last tendrils of fog unravel across these South Island hills, imagine stepping from temperate rainforests into alpine grandeur, where rugged peaks wear caps of ice that glint like diamonds under a clear blue sky. Soon we will journey to the asphalt seeps black and still from the ground at Rancho La Brea, a world where tar licks preserve secrets of Ice Age beasts, and the promise of hidden wonders lies beneath sticky black echoes of ancient life. For now, let the hush of beech forests, the patter of waterfalls, and the breath of misty hills cradle you into slumber, as the spirit of Aotearoa's green heart guides you into dreams as boundless as these rolling hills. Imagine stepping onto ground that oozes black gold, ancient tar that holds frozen echoes of creatures long vanished, like a window into a time when mastodons roamed beneath an endless sky. The asphalt seeps black and still from the ground. At Rancho La Brea, veiling the sunlit Los Angeles basin in ribbons of viscous history. As dawn's first amber light brushes the surface of tar pits, you feel the heavy pulse of time beneath your feet, each droplet of sticky asphalt a tincture of ancient epochs. The air tastes faintly of petroleum and sun-warmed earth mingling with the distant tang of salt carried inland from the Pacific. With each deliberate breath, imagine drawing in a fragment of millennia, rekindling a world where creatures of colossal size once thundered across these plains. Exhale slowly, releasing every tether to the present, as your senses awaken to a place where life and death stand suspended beneath layers of dark, slow-moving asphalt. Inhale the subtle aroma of entrapped wood and leaves, refuse that once fell, into dissolving pools of tar preserving microscopic details of ancient flora. Exhale, letting the hush of this petrified viscera draw you deeper into reflection. The surface is eerily calm, yet beneath lies a labyrinth of fossilized remains, bones, teeth, and hides, all whispering tales of dire wolves, saber-toothed cats, and giant ground sloths. The cracked surface undulates like a sleeping beast, hinting at life entombed in a resin of sun-warmed oil. As you walk slowly along a raised boardwalk, each step echoes with the distant rumble of highways and city bustle, a stark contrast to the eerie serenity of life fossilized here. Feel the warmth of the asphalt seep into your boots, forging an intimate connection with the Earth's deep memory. Have you ever wondered how the sun's heat and the scent of wildgrass fade into stillness when tar preserves the last breath of Ice Age giants? Pause at an observation point overlooking a pool of shimmering asphalt, its surface reflecting squat palms and late California oaks draped in golden morning light. Through the slick sheen, you glimpse the bleached curvature of a dire wolf's femur, an echo of a predator that once sprang from brush-choked banks under a sky free of skyscrapers. As your eyes adjust, more fragments emerge, a bison skull half buried in black, a mastodon tusk curving out like a sun-browned horn. Each bone protrudes as though frozen mid-stride, capturing a final moment in an epic drama of survival and demise. Inhale the faint metallic tang of fossilized marrow. Exhale, letting the gravity of their final breaths settle into your core. Alongside you, the hushed voice of a paleontologist describes how over tens of thousands of years, natural asphalt seeped from deep petroleum reservoirs pooling in low-lying areas to create carnage traps. The animals, lured by ancient sage and salt or fleeing brush fires, sank into the sticky mire, their struggles preserved in tar that hardened to seal their final moments. Picture a lone mammoth plodding toward a water source, only to find its legs swallowed by a black maw. Its trumpet of panic echoed across grasslands now gone. Feel the weight of that trumpet in your chest. Inhale the strength of its legacy. Exhale, allowing your breath to fall into a steady rhythm. Turn your gaze toward a display case under a shaded awning, where the reconstructed skeleton of a saber-toothed cat stands in mid-leap, a testament to predatory grace, now halted by asphalt's embrace. Its elongated canines glint even beneath museum lights, a reminder of tooth and claw meeting prey beneath Pleistocene skies. Each vertebra and rib hints at muscles now long gone, yet together they once fueled a lithe predator that stalked meadows brimming with bison and camels. Inhale the phantom growl of its ancestors. Exhale the tension in your shoulders, allowing that once predator's certainty to guide you into restful stillness. Nearby, a giant ground sloth's skeleton leans against a textured backdrop of reconstructed, tar-preserved brush, its massive claws still curved as though reaching for branches no longer there. Imagine the slow, deliberate movements of its bulk as it fed on prehistoric foliage, unaware of the tar awaiting it near shallow pools. Inhale the heavy scent of decomposing underbrush. Exhale in unhurried release, letting your limbs grow heavy like the sloth itself, collapsing in repose. Each breath's lengthening guides you deeper into reflection, as though time itself stretches, echoing the slow metamorphosis of organic truth embedded in asphalt, from towering peaks where mist veils emerald hills to dense jungles where unseen. Giants breathe, and now to the still black sheen of Rancho La Brea, our journey has spanned continents and epochs. Each landscape, veiled in fog, draped in vines, or crusted with asphalt, invites you to witness the profound continuity of life, death, and rebirth. As sunlight wanes on the tar pits and urban hum returns to distant ears, carry these echoes of ancient forests, hidden temples, and fossilized dramas into your sleep. Let the rhythmic pulse of history cradle you, the breath of gorillas deep in African thickets, the quiet stir of ferns in New Zealand's mist, and the silent waits of Ice Age beasts sealed in black. May the memory of each realm guide your dreams toward kindness, wonder, and reverence for every living strand of the great tapestry. Rest now, letting all shadows dissolve as tomorrow's light awaits, renewed by the knowledge that time's river flows through each footstep, each heartbeat, and every moment shared beneath an endless sky. Sleep well and awaken with eyes veiled in awe, ready to trace new paths among the echoes of Earth's enduring song. From the bottom of the canyon to the edge of time, thank you for joining this journey through mist-cloaked forests, ancient terraces, and fossil dark pools. If you felt the pulse of these stories, please hit subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss our next adventure into Earth's hidden wonders.